Hello, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to NinjaTrader Live's FOMC coverage. I'm Maggie Lake, and joining me, the Dream Team, macro strategist Craig Shapiro, senior economist Tracy Shuchart, senior market strategist Jim Cagnina, and Blake Morrow, co-founder of Forex Analytics. Hey, everybody. Great to see you.
Good afternoon,
Maggie?
Maggie.
Good afternoon.
How's it going?
Wow. It is an extravaganza today. We have the FOMC meeting, possible changing of guard. We've got a gazillion Mag 7 tech earnings, kind of weirdly all coming on this same day. It's not always the case. But we have stocks lower, oil higher, bond yields higher heading into that, although mostly everyone is waiting for the real fireworks. I don't know. How's everybody feeling going into it? Craig, what's the vibe as we head into the FOMC meeting?
It's a yawner. It's probably the least interesting Fed meeting that we've had in quite some time, yet it is the most interesting, I guess, because it's Powell's last. So I think
I'm sad about that.
Yeah, I'm not so sad. But yeah, look, I think Joseph Wang was on this morning, and he gave a pretty good, some good insight. I think what we'll be listening for is to hear kind of how obviously the Fed's not going to be cutting interest rates today, but just are there indications from the committee or Powell himself how he's thinking about the inflation pressures that have stemmed from the war, and an updated view on the labor market, which since the last meeting, the labor market looks better, right? The last payroll print was very strong. We've had these weekly ADP numbers, which we know the Fed looks at, have been very robust as well. So if the labor market is fine and inflation is running ahead of target, then they really should be thinking less about cutting rates this year. So it'll be interesting to hear from Powell how the committee thinks about cutting rates for later this year and whether or not more people are considering pushing that out further. So obviously the markets aren't really pricing in too much of accommodation, but it will be interesting to see how he thinks about it on his way out the door. So, and then lastly, just will he give any insight onto whether or not he's staying on as a governor or not? I suspect he's going to address that right at the onset of Q&A, just to kind of set the record straight, and we'll see what happens. But he, in theory, could stay on until the beginning of 2028. Potentially protect himself from future investigations or whatever happens with the DOJ, or he could just leave and start collecting more paychecks, which I tend to think that's what he's going to do, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's kind of that's the palace intrigue, isn't it, Shai? Like what happens and what kind of stage he sets, what kind of handoff to Warsh. I think that's what everyone's really keyed in on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that how the market reacts, I think if he stays, that's one more hawk at the Fed, or more hawkish. He has a lot of sway at the Fed, even though he'd just be a governor and not the Fed chair. But he's still, he's been there for a long time. He's chair, he still has sway there. So that would probably look more hawkish if he leaves. Obviously, that's more dovish because Trump would replace him with a dove in all sense and purposes. And
a
so
sock puppet,
we'll
you mean? Isn't that what we're calling them now?
the sock puppet, quote unquote. I forgot who deemed that term, but that is what they are calling him. So we will have to see. What I think is also going to be really interesting, I want to see if there's more cohesion in this group this time, because we've had some dissents and more than usual over the last couple of meetings. So it'll be interesting to see if there's more cohesion in this group, because that would be seen as hawkish as well, because that would make Warsh's job that much harder to come in and try to wrangle everybody to cut rates immediately. So that's kind of what I'm looking for in today's meeting.
Yeah, it's a great point, Shai, because I've heard people say maybe we're it used to be that everyone kind of got together around the chairman. But I've heard people talk about maybe we're drifting to a new type of Fed where you get a lot more dissent. You have division all the time, and it's a lot more transparent. I mean, we don't know, but we've sort of seen that happening. But if it was a permanent feature, it would be a little different. If you haven't had a chance to see everyone's conversation, the team's conversation with Joseph this morning, it's worth re-racking even after we get the news to watch it, because I think he said a lot of really interesting things. And one of them was this idea that transitory. We've had so many transitory events that it's hard to say that anymore. And maybe it's baked in. It's baked in now, and the Fed can ignore inflation and the higher oil price, maybe the way they did in earlier wars. I thought that was a really interesting comment.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the market's also going to be looking at, the back end of the curve. It's, $20 higher. If it stays elevated and rises further, that's kind of telling us that this oil problem is going to last a lot longer than people thought that it would. And normally when we see a geopolitical oil price spike, it doesn't last very long. If you look at 2022 with the Russia-Ukraine war, if you look last June on the 12-day Iran war, we had an oil price spike, didn't last long, went back into the range. This time we're staying elevated, and we're going on 2 months now. And so we haven't, and there's no relief in sight. I mean, the strait is still effectively closed. We've had 6 ships go through yesterday, vessels, 3 of them commercial, 3 non-commercial. So obviously that activity is, and the longer that we wait, the more this problem compounds, because we're not just talking oil, we're talking fertilizer, we're talking all sorts of lighter liquids to make plastics. It filters into every section of the economy. You also have materials needed for mining. And so, the longer this lasts, the bigger chance we are going to see this show up in the economy in a very negative way.
Yeah, that's the sort of difficulty I think that certainly Warsh is walking into. Blake and Jim, over under on whether you think Powell's gonna gracefully announce his departure or stick around to kind of protect the Fed. Blake,
you go first, Blake.
Well, I'll go first then. I actually think that he's gonna head it off like what Craig said. He's gonna say, "Hey, when my term is up, I'm leaving." Now I don't think he's gonna be so specific to say I am going to stay on the board of governors until January of 2028, or upon transfer I'm going to depart and go on my merry way. I do think the risk is that he sticks around. For a couple of different reasons. One of them is going to be from a legal standpoint, because I don't think that DOJ probe is actually going anywhere. I think it's going to resurface as soon as he steps down, regardless. So he'll have more defense being on with the Fed. And plus, I agree with what I think is Tracy, you said a little bit earlier about at least it was pre-show. We were talking a little bit about this. Was that he wants to also defend the independence of the Fed, and I believe it's true when he says that. So again, I think he's going to say I'm peacefully transferring everything over. I just don't know if he's going to tell us, at what extent he's going to stick around. Right. Which, by the way, I would think would create a move in the market if we saw that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to take the under on you, Blake.
Yeah, do it.
He was on the board of governors since 2012. He was appointed by Trump in 2018. He's been doing this for a long, long period of time. That probe was to get him out of office, to pressure him out of office. That didn't work. He's going to leave now, and there's a gentleman's agreement. I think he's going to move on. Now he might word it in a way that says once the transition is complete, because Warsh still has to be confirmed. He's not confirmed yet. He just passed the House Bank Committee, Senate committee meeting, so which is a big hurdle. But I think he'll weasel word it, and I think he's going to suggest he's gone.
Yeah. It would be sort of unprecedented. Somebody asked in the chat, "Hey everybody, it's great to see you in the chat. If you are not subscribing and you're listening, you should subscribe so you can participate in the conversation." Someone said, "Will equities respond positively or negatively to him leaving?" It's kind of an interesting question because we're in such murky, weird times. You think it would rally, Blake, Craig, and Shai? What do you think? You think it would be rally if he said, "Yep, I'm out," because then Warsh is going to lower rates, right?
So I think it would be more. Sorry, I think it would be. The perception would be that Trump gets to replace him, sooner than the end of his term, and that person most likely will be a dove because that is what Trump wants. And so I think the markets would react positively in that kind of news situation.
Would bonds react positively, Craig? Because, and just as a backdrop, we saw those yields moving up, and I saw Peter Bookvar drop a really interesting comment that not only do we have U.S. yields moving up, probably in reaction to the fact that we have got 10-year JGB, Japanese yields at 29-year highs, German yields 15-year highs, UK yields 18-year highs. These are some big numbers.
Yeah, I think, well, first off, I think if Powell does leave, I think Myron's going to be reappointed in Powell's chair. So I think we know what we're getting. I think we're going to get Myron back in that seat again. So then you'd have Warsh and Myron, and you'd have Bowman and Waller, and you'd have Williams, who are kind of 5 doves already right there. And so the ability then for Warsh to try to push through rate cuts sooner rather than later, he at that point only really have to, convince 2 more people. So I think the odds that he would be able to push rates lower would start to go up. I think the front end would rally on that, but I agree with you. I think the back end continues to sell off. We'll see yields higher, and we'll see a steepener on that. I mean, basically what we're seeing now is because of the elevated energy price environment, yields in Europe making highs, yields in Japan making highs, the big yields in the UK as well. The big energy importing regions are struggling in the elevated energy price environment. Brent's making highs. December crude is basically making highs. Gasoline's making highs, right? So this inflationary situation is not going anywhere. And global central banks have inflation-only mandates. And so they are more likely to have to address this elevated inflation. ECB is currently expected to now hike 3 times this year. We'll see. That's what markets are pricing. So I agree with you. I think the market would for a minute be maybe excited about Powell leaving, but that steepener, elevated energy, and then of course at 4:00 today, hyperscaler earnings are going to take front and center, and so everyone will forget about whether or not Powell is staying or going within an hour or so.
Yeah, and the
no
equity
competition.
The equity markets are like the honey badger. They don't care. They don't care what the Fed does. I mean, look at this thing. It's crazy. We're still just, after the 2 other layers in this cake with the war and then with all this inflation pressure, it's amazing. Spoots are close to 7,200 still.
And don't forget, traders are so ADHD and they just hear squirrel and they're like, what? And then that's it.
Yeah, we have seen we got a couple headlines I noticed. We saw the market get a little bit more conservative, certainly yesterday, and we saw a little bit of pullback from that. But I think semis are still up 40-some% in the last month. It's been a monster move. And we've got headlines today. NPX Semiconductor source 26% after an earnings beat. Bloom Energy, which is kind of connected, up 20%. I mean, it's just been unstoppable. Jim, does it look like the market's kind of positioning to rally if we get a reason today, or does it look like sentiment is a little bit more, risk off?
I think it's anticipating earnings. I think that's the whole thing right now. I don't think, we sold off a little bit in the equity market. Not even. I mean, NASDAQ's up a little bit. ES is down a little bit. It's kind of a mixed bag. I think it's anticipatory for 4:00 for me and Craig's 4:00 session.
Exactly. We're just about a minute away from that. And Trace, I know you're going to be watching that. We all will be, to see what, if any, news comes out. Again, most of it, the thing that people are looking for, the factors that might move markets, might be in the press conference, which is going to come a little bit later. But we will get at least the statement and some sense of who voted how. But Jim, you just teased it. You and Craig are going to do a special because it's such a crazy day. You're going to be back talking tech earnings live in real time, breaking news, folks. And we were joking that we'll have that. We'll probably have Trump tweeting on Truth Social. Like, you guys are going to be right in the thick of the storm.
Looking forward to
plenty to do.
They're calling the most market moving 80 seconds because they're all coming out within 80 seconds of each other.
Yeah, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, and Google all coming out between 4 and 4:05. So, we'll get to it live, and we'll see what the hyperscalers have to say about the CapEx plans and the profitability. And I think markets will easily transition from this Fed meeting to that.
It's been
unchanged.
Yeah, but
unchanged, obviously.
4 dissents.
Whoa. Well, market's selling off on 40
Hammock,
cents.
Kashkari, Logan voted against the easing bias act. So I guess there was some language that they voted. It looks like they're voting against language. I need to go through the statement, but I do see that there's an 8
Go
to
ahead.
4 vote.
Maybe Jim, walk us through while Craig and Shy are digging into that. Walk us through, if anything, what we're seeing in the market right now in terms of reaction.
Yeah, so right away, even the S&P.
Jump in, guys, if you see something though.
Yeah, we had about a 10 handle break, and now we're kind of teasing a lower move in the ES.
So I have the statement changes. They're very minimal whatsoever. Instead of available, it says recent indicators. I mean, the statement changes don't really give kind of reflection. All that they added was inflation is elevated in part reflecting the recent increase in global energy prices, which we already knew that. So other than that, no change. Is
no
worth
change
noting.
there. I agree. But so if you look at the bottom there on the statement, you're seeing Hammock, Kashkari, and Logan supported maintaining target range, but did not support inclusion of an easing bias in the statement at this time. So, and then Myron dissented the other way. So 4 dissents, 3 hawkish dissents, the classic Myron single dovish dissent. But I think this is the way that regional Fed governors, and that's all 3 of them are regional governors, are trying to push back against the idea that the Fed is committed to easing later this year, amidst a reasonably strong labor market and inflation, which continues to run well above target. And what's added here is in part reflecting the recent increase in global energy prices. So hawkish dissents, the committee trying to move the bar in a hawkish direction here for Powell's swan song ahead of Warsh getting in there. So I think that's probably maybe some of the reaction you're seeing to
or message to the administration that they're not going to roll over and turn into a band of sock puppets the minute that Powell leaves. That maybe the sort of determination to be independent isn't just on Powell. That all of them want to make it seem like they are looking at the data and not just being a mouthpiece of the White House. They've all got reputations that they're considering too, but that's really interesting. It's interesting they're kind of getting out because they could have just went along with it. They're kind of letting they wanted to include something we didn't see, like kind of giving you a little peek behind the curtain, which is sort of interesting.
Well, that's another reason why. Does Powell really want to stay on a board where there's so many dissents going around? It could be a little bit unorganized, and he might not want to be in that environment.
Well, Jim, but it gives him a chance to be a little spicier than he probably has been able to do in the past several years as Fed chair. He probably gets to throw around his weight a little bit and be a little bit more vocal. Yeah. I don't know. I still think he wants to. I think he wants to stay in the ring, Jim. I don't think he wants to bow out now, buddy.
He could ultimately also say, I'm not sure what I'm going to leave, and kind of just leave it open-ended, and then he could still retire early at any point if he so chooses to do so. He doesn't have to stay his entire term, so he could just leave it open-ended too and make Trump squirm a little bit.
Yeah, I think this is less about ego. I mean, the guy has a lot of money. He's already successful. I think it's less about personal ego and more about service. And do you want to fight with Trump? Like Trump will come after him and the administration. Yeah. So do you want to weather that storm, or which would probably, mean, or do you want to bow out? And also, I think it depends on how he feels about hanging over the shoulder and staying on his boss when a new person is coming in. I think that there is that unspoken, I'm going to get out of your way and let you define your chairmanship and leave my legacy intact. Remember, the best thing that happens to Powell's legacy is probably that he's been fighting with Trump and trying to look like he's defending Fed independence, because this is the guy that got transitory wrong, right? That got COVID inflation wrong. I mean, he was looking like the worst Fed president. And somebody in the chat still thinks that. It said, don't let the door hit you, blank, blank, blank. So, he's got his detractors, but this last period has made him look fairly decent. So maybe you want to bow out before things get messy and just take that and hand over to the next, kind of in the way most presidents don't, as we discussed before the show, don't comment on policy once they leave office. Like maybe Powell wants to be able to do that for Warsh. I don't know. Do they have a personal relationship? Do they know each other? I don't know anything about that. Do we think that they have a working relationship?
I don't know anything about that. I would assume that they do because
I think
Warsh
Warsh was on the board of governors, I think, from 2006 to 11, unless I got my guys confused. I think he was around before.
he was. Yeah, he was. So they
but I'm
do
sure
have a
that
working relationship.
I'm sure they're.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm sure they're in the same circles. I'm sure they all kind of know each other. Whether they are buddies or not is a different story. But, I'm sure that they know each other.
So you're saying that Powell was invited to Epstein Island then?
Oh, Blake, we had to go there. Oh, my gosh.
Sorry.
By the way, the S&P is trying to make new lows right now. We're bumping up against yesterday's lows and today's lows as well.
It's interesting. I'm just kind of trying to go back. I've never seen dissents based on policy bias. And so I'm doing a quick little AI scan here about whether or not there's been policy bias dissents before. And it looks like there has. And you have to go back really to the Greenspan era, 1990s dissents during the Greenspan era. Several dissents were recorded specifically against the bias portion of the directive. So this is where governors are voting in support of the decision, which in this case was to hold rates, but then dissented on the kind of, and here the inclusion of the bias that easing is still the most likely path. And so what you're getting is, look, I mean, these guys could have dissented various times before. I do find it convenient that they're doing it right now for Powell's last meeting, ahead of Warsh coming in, where they know he's going to be pushing in easing bias. He's already been out testifying as such, and we know the president has, may or may not have been guiding him in some direction. But this is their way of pushing back and saying, in the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friends, right? I mean, they're basically saying you're not going to come in here and try to run us over and push policy, an easing policy regime with a labor market that is stable and maybe even good, and inflation that continues to run well above target and really showing no signs of abating here, with headline inflation moving materially northward, over the course of the next several months, with the Strait of Hormuz being closed. So it is interesting to see them dissent on bias. And there was 3 of them too. So this was obviously a very spirited debate. I'm sure Powell's going to get a lot of questions about that. It'll be interesting to hear kind of how he thinks about it and how he got to this decision to keep the easing bias despite those 3 dissents.
Craig, I think that's such an important point. And again, it wasn't like they put a bias and they said, we didn't want to include that. They're telling you about something that we didn't know if they didn't tell us. Do you think they know Powell's leaving, and without cover of him now, they're sort of establishing themselves as, okay, he may be out, but we're still here and I'm wondering if they know he's leaving.
That's a great point. You're right. I mean, this is the type of thing we normally would hear kind of, a few members, him talking at the press conference, a few members were thinking that they didn't like the balance of risk statement or something like that, or we would see in the minutes that, several members were in this way. This is their way of actually getting on the record. And when you dissent, you don't really have a say in how the minutes are written. And so they wanted to get out and be public with this dissent. Maybe maybe this was discussed at the meeting. We'll see in, whatever that is, 20 minutes if Powell was leaving or going. And this was their way of saying, we need to push back against any potential dovish bias that's coming in from the new Fed chair.
But by the way, just real quick, I was just going to say, this may not have anything to do with the Fed. Equities are hitting lows of the session, dollars hitting highs. I'm seeing the dollar MEX reacts, which tends to tell me that it might be a little bit of a mix between Iranian news that's hitting the wires right now and, ahead of the Fed.
I mean, Blake, I mean, crude oil just punched through 107. So this is a multi-tier attack.
It is. And Bitcoin just slid to fresh lows just now. So I think it's a little bit more of a risk off, having to do with some headlines about 6 Iranian crew members of a container ship were freed after seizure by the U.S. 22 Iranians are still held. So a lot of stuff moving at the moment. Yeah. Sorry about my alarm.
And we did.
I thought that was just humanity's alarm. Like, oh no.
And we did hear earlier today from Trump saying that we are not planning on, we are not anticipating on stopping the blockade anytime soon until Iran comes to the table. And CENTCOM was talking about how they are planning a light Iranian tax if necessary, whatever that means. But so that kind of, sparked the later part of the afternoon in the oil market rally too. So there's a lot of moving parts going on right now.
Yes.
I mean, crude oil's up over 7%. I mean, this is insane.
I mean, it was, this is the thing I think we've been all talking about, this disconnect, this apparent disconnect between what we see happening in the Middle East and with the disruptions that, Shai, you've been so good about really putting into context just how damaging this is. And the equity market, which has just been, rolling on AI and completely kind of looking through all that, do they come together? And at some point, I mean, Craig, are we trading oil? Is oil driving everything now again?
Yeah, look, I mean, we talked a little bit about this again this morning, but the highly correlated trade of the war and the Strait of Hormuz being closed and the supply chain disruptions is starting to come back again, right? We're seeing long dated oil, gasoline, and now front month crude really having a move. We're seeing the bond markets abroad selling off, which is filtering into the U.S. fixed income sell off. We've been talking about the gold sell off, which is highly correlated with that as well. The dollar rallying, and the dollar rallying has continued here. Dollar yen through 160.39. The euro is making lows for the day, 116.7. So this is the highly correlated asset trade that's going on here as the uncertainty around the Strait of Hormuz is picking up. And then you add to that, again, a little bit of this kind of hawkish fodder here of a central bank that isn't going to be, or voting members who don't seem to be wanting to be pushed, very aggressively into a direction of easing into that kind of backdrop where there is tremendous uncertainty about the forward inflation outlook. And the timing of when it might go away. And they're loath to, and Joseph talked about this morning about how many times we've been talking about transitory from COVID and transitory for the Ukraine war. And this is transitory too. And I think people are tired of hearing that word. And so I think people at the Fed are tired of saying the word. And so if inflation is likely to be elevated for multi-months or multi-quarters because of this, then there's no appetite to ease. And so the language here that they're using, even though it seemed like it was neutral language, this is those members saying they wanted a balance of risk statement change and they did not get it. And so they are dissenting because they didn't get it.
Very interesting. Some people pointing out, the market waking up to the fact that inflation's going higher. They're definitely not cutting rates. By the way, I think that there was not any move anticipated by the market until like October 2027. Is that right? I think that's what I saw. Is that the most recent? So it's not like anyone, but if I'm not mistaken, we're going to replay the great conversation that Jem and Danielle DiMartino Booth had in Miami. I think we're going to release that later this week. Danielle thought the economy was weak underneath, though, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't she, Shai? I mean, there are people who are everyone's looking at data, and some people see a really resilient, robust economy, and other people see things cracking under the hood and feel like we're rolling over and going into recession. So there's sort of compelling arguments on both sides, I think. That was her position, if I'm not mistaken, right, Shai?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, she thinks that we've been in a recession, at least part of the economy has been in a recession for the last couple of years. And her view of the labor market is it's not as strong as it looks like on the outside because of the gig economy, because you have all these workers that are, Uber drivers or whatever that aren't on the payrolls necessarily, having multiple jobs in the gig economy. And so she thinks the labor market's been weak. And what her position is that she thinks the economic situation is going to deteriorate so much, it's going to force the Fed to eventually have to cut rates.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a good spirited debate with Danielle in Miami too. And I've been more in the camp of, that the labor market was going to deteriorate, and the AI labor displacement thesis was going to pick up momentum, but it just really hasn't happened yet. And I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but I mean, you look at that negative payroll print we had in February, it was revised, and then the March number was very strong, and then the weekly momentum we've been getting out of ADP has been robust as well. And so, I think time will tell about the pace of the labor market deterioration. It's not that evident yet. Now, clearly, the lower part of the K-shaped economy continues to struggle, and with an elevated energy price environment, that's only going to get worse. And yet, asset prices are being driven by what the wealthy do, and consumption is being driven by what the wealthy cohort is doing, and that's still, for now, being able to keep overall, economic data stronger than I would have thought, and certainly stronger than what the impact of the supply chain being disrupted would suggest.
Yeah, watch youth unemployment. It doesn't show up in data. They don't spend. They're not really plugged into that part of the economy, but they vote at least if they want to.
Maggie, the bond market is not liking. I have a bond chart up right now. A bond market's not liking it. We're pricing back into 112 handle right now. Big red candle to the downside, which means yields are up.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a big move in the front now. It's we're
Yeah.
taking 2-year yields are at 3.93 and change. Now it's a 10 basis point move. So stir market is really getting hit on here. So markets are taking this hawkish descent seriously.
We're getting near that. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Blake. But I want to ask another question as we kind of move into this, what could be a really volatile end to the day today. But Blake, can you just touch on the yen? Because I know this is on your radar for anybody. I know a lot of you are trading stock futures, but for anybody in currencies, I think this is important. You're also watching the yen, right?
I am. We're approaching the big 160.50 level, and people tend to forget that Besant and the Ministry of Finance, they've been talking. There's lines of communication. Intervention threat is real, and an intervention for FX really can shake the trees of anything globally, especially when you're talking about yen, which is such a big carry trade, and it's really closely correlated to a lot of these moves that we're seeing. Well, haven't been recently. Actually, seen more of a negative correlation to the bond market, which Jim happens to be, had it on the 30-year. But you can see how weak the yen is, and my fear is that if we get some continued dollar strength across the board, that yen contract that Jim's showing there, we're going to punch right through those lows. And that's going to put the Ministry of Finance right on alert. I wouldn't be surprised if we're in the dead hour sometime. Dead hours, between the time New York closes, the time that Tokyo reopens, but you still have Auckland and Melbourne and whatnot. But that dead zone is when the Ministry of Finance tends to get their biggest bang for their buck. So as soon as we're finishing up with earnings, you got Craig and Jim talking about what's happening with Microsoft. Got to be on the lookout. Maybe the Ministry of Finance, pumps a bunch of money into buying yen. So I think that the intervention risks become a little bit more real up here at this point.
Yeah, having and you think it's got the okay or the heads up at Scotty B. I heard Farm calling him Scotty B, which now I'm not ever going to get out of my head. But Shai and Craig, just want to pivot back to you because I see people saying last chance to get out, the market's rolling over. We get earnings out and these tech companies reinforce the AI narrative. Can we turn on a dime here? Is that going to be greater than anything coming from the Fed or maybe not this time? Shai, what are your thoughts?
What, as far as the earnings are concerned?
Yeah,
I think everybody's going to.
If tech comes out and either surprise the upside or gives them something they want, is the market going to key off that and quickly forget about the Fed?
100%, 100%, because Powell's gone. This is his last presser. Who knows what could happen? Warsh is coming in. Can he convince these other Federal Reserve governors? So that could change by the time the May meeting comes. Who knows, right? So I think that markets would forget about that initially. But when it comes to the earnings, I think we really need to pay attention on how markets react to that. Because if you remember last quarter when Meta beat expectations, but their CapEx spooked the heck out of the market, and they took a big dive. And so I want to see how investors are looking at these CapEx numbers because they're huge and they're supposed to be bigger this earnings quarter than they were last earnings quarter. So it'll be very interesting to see. And we have companies that are literally firing people to try to cut their bottom line for all this CapEx spend. That is not really a healthy way to go about doing that. But so I think it will be very important. And to your point, yes, I think absolutely markets will forget about Fed as soon as these earnings come out.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I largely agree with that. I think the Fed is really, not necessarily the story. The story is AI CapEx and the war. right? And so, what the Fed is doing here with language and the regional governors, maybe it's interesting for some star traders. Clearly, it's interesting for a lot of star traders, right? Things are moving, but they're also moving because of what's going on with oil, and that has implications for the dollar and the long end. And then we have the AI story here. But I would say that the expectations, kind of broadly speaking, here are elevated, right? We've had a large move into the prints here. We've had a lot of chasing, we've had a lot of call buying, got a lot of put selling, and so expectations are high. So they're going to really need to deliver robust earnings outlooks and give commentary about the capex guidance that is that the markets will like, right? And so we also know that further upstream, the Microns, the SanDisks, the WDCs, and Seagates and Cornings that are beneficiaries of the capex, that's where a lot of the capital has been flocking into, less so the Mag 7 and the hyperscalers. And so if there happens to be any talk of capex pace, slowing down, those things are going to unwind quick. So a very precarious, setup here when you have the big, these big companies are reporting, you have the Fed, you have the geopolitical going on, you have the Trump tweet risks. It's a lot for the market to digest here. We've come so far. We also tomorrow have month end. A massive pension rebalance is, for sale and equities is very likely. So that flow going in the opposite direction. Volatility still relatively tame. Probably not a bad time for monetization of some gains, some protection. I think more people are going to be thinking about that as we transition through the end of the day here and into the rest of the week.
Yeah, and I can't imagine going into stuff overnight now. And if you're just tuning in, thank you for the nice comments, because I think what Craig and Shai and Jim and Blake are really underscoring is how interconnected all these markets are. And we're trying to get a sense of what's leading here. But there's an impact flowing to both ways between all of them, which makes it really tricky. And we've had a lot moving in terms of oil and geopolitics just while we've been live in this conversation, trying to digest the Fed. So there is an awful lot, it seems like, of potential for volatility going into this. Jim and Blake, just curious in terms of, everything Craig said is so true, right? I mean, you can't imagine people don't, if you are sitting on some really nice profits moving into this, that you wouldn't want to take some partials, right? Just take a little bit off the table to protect yourselves. And yet we've seen like a night like this night, and then the next day, everybody is BTFD, right? Like they're back in. I don't know. What is, Blake, what's your sense of sentiment here?
Well, talking about price action, I think it's really important. Tracy hit the nail on the head. You got to watch earnings. You got to see how stocks react. When stocks stop going up on good earnings, especially if it's, maybe CapEx related, or even if it's just more of the, you look at every technical formation on, I think, 4 or 3 of the Mag 7 stocks out of the 4 that are reporting tonight, they're up against some pretty key resistance and some really critical ones just above. I could see beat earnings, stock trades higher, then gets, knocked down. And if it does, that's just a really telltale sign that underneath things aren't good. And you made a comment earlier, Maggie, about some of the people commenting in our stream. Look, I always look at the market as what's the person on the other side of the trade doing right now. So in other words, it doesn't mean you're necessarily trading on that side, but you got to think about, how do the buyers feel right now? Where are they wrong? Where did they say I'm wrong? In my opinion, it's below 70.50 in the S&P, below 7,000, everybody pulls a ripcord and gets out. And as long as you know those levels, then you know what, playground you're playing in. And when people push those boundaries, that's when action's going to happen. So rather than trying to call a top and saying, oh, this is the top, find out where everybody thinks that they're going to be wrong. My opinion is below 7,000. Anybody who's long is wrong. And then also, people may have priced in a lot of what's happening with the Fed. People may have priced in, maybe what's happening with some of these earnings. What people haven't priced in, more military action out of Iran or out of the U.S. in Iran. The market is not anticipating that. Everybody thinks that, it was over, and it was over 2 weeks ago. But I don't know if that's necessarily the case after today. Sorry, Jim, go ahead. I'm sure you got some
I just
comments.
wanted to add, I was talking to Shai earlier today, and she correctly pointed out that it's kind of we're going to have the earnings released, but really when the rubber meets the road is the investor phone calls that happen afterward. So this is going to drag on for a while tonight, and those calls are usually more important than just the actual, hey, we beat earnings.
Yeah, super great call. And I know you and Craig are going to set everybody up for that later because we're going to get a lot more of you too. But thank you all. Fantastic conversation as we head into this. It's time for the Edge Report. Take it away, Jim.
Thank you. All right, well, let's take a step out and look at the E-mini S&P right now. I mean, this is a daily candle. We had an incredible recovery from the lows at the end of March, and we hit a high, right? We hit this little north of that 7,200 level. Can't really get traction above it for the third session in a row. A little bit of a sell-off right now, just sitting right on top of that 8 EMA. So we'll see if that 8 EMA held. Now, look at the slope of the 8 EMA. It's been pretty nice, and it's kind of angling sideways right now. So we'll see if we get a close below that or above that today. That's very important to me. And RSI is starting to creep down. It's not crazy crossover, cross under that I'd prefer to see between 30 and 70. It's kind of happening toward the top here, but we'll keep an eye on the slope of that RSI from a bigger term point of view. Intraday, let me pull this chart up here. This has been a really interesting day. Really kind of a nice volume profile, to be honest with you. I mean, there's literally, the point of control is kind of in the middle. It's kind of a Gaussian distribution. Yeah, there's a couple of bumps in the road, but this is, we're tracking 58 right now. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw that again. I went back to those stats that Edgeful, it's just such a great website to get some statistics on market behavior. And then I posted them up here. I did a two-year look back and said, hey, of the 16 FOMC meetings, how many, what was the performance of that day? So after 2 years, on average, 0.3% positive. That's it. 1 year look back, I said, well, maybe 1 year would be a little different. 0.23% a positive performance on FOMC day over 8 meetings, and then I looked at 6 months. Maybe something's changed, and it's only minus 0.02% for the last 3 meetings. So you typically don't get a huge move on an FOMC day, which kind of surprised me when I saw the stat. The next day is usually the opposite, so we'll find out what happens tomorrow. But that stat's kind of important to me, especially looking at this profile being so strong. We wick down to S1. Everybody knows I love the pivots. Perfect bottom right now. I'm not saying we're not going to see it again, but it's right there. Now, high vol is also right there, 71.45. And high vol is kind of, from MenthorQ, on a daily intraday chart, this is kind of where gamma could change, right? So we're just kind of, it's right by previous session's low. So that 71.45 is super, super important to me as well. The 9 EMA is kind of wonky. It's all over the place. So anyway, that's the story up there. And one more thing, there is room on the downside too, by the way. And we have this put support, 0DT put support at 7,100, and that 1-day min in S2 pretty close at 7,103. Again, this thing, I'd like to think of this market moving in increments of 50. So we'll keep an eye on that on the downside. NASI's a little different. NASI's a little stronger, but we only got a minute left here, so I want to show the Treasury bonds right now. Let's go back to that daily chart. I had it up a couple minutes ago, and we have this consolidation, this 3-tier consolidation level. Support really was at 113 and 10/30 seconds. And yesterday we probed through it, but buyers brought us back up into the consolidation range. No big deal. But today, not so much. I don't see buyers bringing us back up. We're at 112 and 26/30 seconds. The EMAs are all starting to arc down. That 8 is underneath that 21. That's kind of bearish right now. And I have some targets down here. Remember, we have that July 25th swing low, 111, 11/30 seconds. But more importantly, every time we dip into a low 112 handle, look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times, buyers brought us back up. So this might be a good zone also to pick some stuff up if we get down that low. I'm not sure we will, but right now it's looking like it wants to sell off a little bit more and does not, it's probably not going to like the press conference either, by the way, just saying. So that's the story of the Treasury. Well, we could look at some intraday. We'll just look at some targets too as well. The other thing that's really interesting is this point of control is dominant. It's at the bottom of the volume profile. It's a small case B distribution right here. It's south of 113. That's important. 0DT put support. We're south of that. That's important. That means we could accelerate quicker on the downside when you're below that put support. It's a regular put support too, as well as the 0DTE. Hit that 1-day min. I just think there's more downside here. Be careful. Jax 1 is at 112, 16, 30 seconds on Treasury bonds. We didn't even get to crude. Be careful with crude. $107 on crude real quickly here. I know I'm out of time. I'm just going to show a daily chart. If I could quickly get it to populate, everybody, hang tight with me. Interestingly enough, we close here, fourth highest close since we've seen this whole time. And not only that, we have target wicks up here, 119.48 and another target wick at 117.57. Don't laugh, we can get there. All right, that is this afternoon's Edge Report, and we are ready for the main event. We are ready to trade the close with Jack Gleason. We have Salma in the house and Chris trading boxes. Good afternoon, traders. How you guys doing?
Good
Hi.
I'm ready for fireworks.
Dude, we've had some fireworks today.
I think they're going to get bigger. It's the grand finale that I'm looking for.
The grand finale. Well, let's start out with Jack. What are you thinking, man?
I mean, honestly, the easiest trade all day has been long oil.
Yeah.
I wish I could say I was better on it, but I'm on it. I'm on it now.
Okay.
We were up and over that prior day high. I know you guys were talking about the show and kind of highlighting that. And to me, it was only a matter of time before the indexes really started getting weak. You had the Russell and the YM leading lower today, the ES and the NQ kind of hanging on. But with oil, it looks like we're about to take out highs again. I'm just trying to trade the most trending markets, which for me is going to be gold to the downside and oil to the upside. So that's going to be my focus going into close. I got, one position on each on the smaller size with, the press conference coming up. I imagine by the end of Jerome's speech, probably all my targets or stops will be hit. We'll find out, but that's what I got going on right now.
All right. Well, we're getting close to that time for Mr. Powell. Let's keep rolling here, though. Selma, what are you thinking?
Not much, honestly. Not a big fan of trading FOMC days. I'll likely wait until Powell gets off the stage because I think until then it's just going to be some wonky PA. And I think the reaction will be a little bit better once he's off. So until then, I won't be doing much. But I would have to agree with Jack that, CL has been on a tear today, and maybe looking for a retest for longs might not be a bad idea. But other than that, I'm just chilling tight. YM here is at support. I do expect buyers to try and do something here. But, I mean, we've just been so weak on YM and the Russell today. I don't really know if they have it in them. We finally broke out of that range that I was talking about on YM earlier this week. Real quick, I'll show you. We were stuck in this range here for so long. And then finally today off the open, we just completely puked. Yeah. Couldn't even find any support at like December highs or anything like that. And now we're at a level that I do like. This is the place where buyers should be doing something. It's just a matter of will they? Yeah. And yeah, so I guess we'll see. But I'm just going to hang tight.
Yeah, it's funny, earnings, there's only 30 components in the Dow. So when there's earnings that are in whack or out of whack, it's going to move that index a lot more than the S&P 500 usually. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot of that great opportunity as well as risk in the YM around earnings time. But thank you, Salma.
Yeah.
Christian, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Jim. I'm good. I'm just waiting for August. So we can go to the game.
August 15th, baby. Save the date.
Well, what are you guys doing now?
Another unofficial, unsanctioned meetup in Los Angeles.
What the heck, Jack? We out?
I didn't.
You guys got to come. We're inviting you right now.
I'll send you guys emails. We'll get
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I love how Jim is just doing his own side meetups.
Yeah, we're not.
Jim's a busy man.
We're not waiting for Shab and Anthony. We're moving around the cabin, man.
All right, so similar comments here. Just a lot of chop today. Really, as a trend follower, there's not much for me today. Maybe as we get closer to maybe the last hour when we pick up on volume, but we've been sort of stuck in this NQ, specifically 130s to 310s, and we're just ping-ponging back and forth. ES has been weaker, semis and the anticipation of some of these big cap earnings are holding NQ up more, but it's still just chop. Maybe I look for some mean reversion trades inside this range, but it's very tough to like Jack said, either your trades are going to hit their TPs or your stops are going to get hit. So maybe it's a wait and see session for me.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Well, we'll see. I think Chair Powell's probably talking right now. We'll get some quotes into the chat for everybody. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for being here with us. And remember, at 4 o'clock, we're not done. I'll pop back in, and then Craig's actually going to pop back in too. We'll both pop back in. Me and Craig are going to stick around, and we'll watch the price action and as Craig discusses the results. So hopefully you guys can stick around then. In the meantime, I'm going to dip in the chat. I'm going to wish you three the best of possible luck on any trades you might take.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
Take care.
I didn't get the hat memo.
Well, I feel like that memo goes out every day.
Even if I got it, I wouldn't have.
Don't you have a ninja hat?
I
You're just
do,
a
yeah.
girl.
It's sitting and collecting dust. Yep.
Oh, put it on, girl.
No.
She's just a girl. Girls
Wait,
don't wear hats.
Someone
just
in
a
the
girl.
chat says I have a comedic vibe. What does that even mean? What did I say that was funny?
A comedic vibe is a good thing.
I
Yeah.
know it's okay, but like what?
It maybe was something you said on another time.
All right, as
Maybe
long as you guys find it funny.
You know what they say? You're funny looking.
Oh God, what are we, middle school?
You got a face for
Hey.
comedy.
It means they think you're a clown. Yo, chat, you guys are not helping here. Thanks, Shab. You're the only one who's got my back.
We're just here for the vibes. Comedic vibes.
People need to laugh once in a while, Can't be that serious.
Oh, I remember when I first joined Ninja, I used to just come on stream every day, like try and be super serious. And then end of the year, they did the whole video clip. And they just clipped everybody laughing. And I'm like, I'm not in this. I think I'm in it like once. like maybe it's time to show a little bit of personality on stream. So yeah, that was my hint.
So now you're going to be all over the clip of everybody laughing.
No, now I'm just like,
She wants to collect
I'm
all
more
the
comfortable.
clips.
That's good. That's a good place to be when you're trading. It's comfortable. I tell you what, when I'm uncomfortable, I hate being uncomfortable when I'm trading. That's not-
We shouldn't be trading if we're like that.
yeah, that's not a good place to be.
Chris, that's how you started too?
Yeah, I'm a little spiced,
You
Okay,
do,
I don't know
you
what's,
surprise us.
Sometimes I tell you what, if I wasn't on here, sometimes do you guys ever heard of Tune It Radio? It's like an app to listen
No.
to Jerome. I used it to listen to Jerome speak sometimes during these conferences. I don't know. We just jammed right back up to my GC entry and then right back down. I have no idea what he's saying, but these trades are going to be in regardless of whatever he's saying.
Jack, the
What?
only thing I watch trading related is NinjaTrader. And I'm not just saying that. I promise.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
AWNTL.
I know they got some fantastic guests on NinjaTrader, but I don't know if we've had Jerome Powell on. Maybe when he's retired and a little less busy, we can get Jerome on here to speak about Fed policy.
Can you imagine? That would be so cool.
I think they can make it happen.
I don't see why not.
Hey.
Okay, Craig says Powell staying on as governor for now. Okay, cool. Trump's not going to like that.
Yeah, we need our heated Miami debate on if he's raising it or keeping interest rates high or not for reasons, for likability reasons. Anybody know why oil's going up today?
You tell
Is
us.
that a trick question?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to answer that question.
You're the
no,
oil trader here.
I'm not. I'm a price action trader. I mean, gosh, we started yesterday's action was bullish, and then today was just like the kicker. I mean, I'm a firm believer that if the direction you're trading is the same direction the prior day, it's probably better. Like, for example, if oil was down yesterday, like longs wouldn't work as good today. I like markets that are one time framing on the daily chart. So like if we're up on the prior day, I like to take longs, or if we're down on the prior day, I like to take shorts, assuming we're trending, right? Those are going to be the best markets. And today is just like a great example of just oil longs, everything from the open. What an elevated move there from like 12 o'clock to, we had like a $5 move out of Lowe's before we even opened. Crazy. The only thing I'm worried about being thin right now is myself. Summer's coming up. I gotta slim down.
Dude, I'm like, where is he taking this? Oh my goodness.
My mom keeps telling me I eat too much. I told her because that's my grandma used to say, you better eat more.
Grandmother's always trying to feed somebody.
I know, and now we're all obese. So that's what you get, Grandma.
Jack, you're skinny.
I used to be a chubby kid. I was 140 pounds in 4th grade. I mean, that's a big boy.
Jeez.
I'm like 180 now, so I haven't put on that much weight.
I'm just waiting for Chris to chime in here.
Back when they used to bully kids.
You used to bully kids for their lunch money?
I mean, I didn't bully kids. I'm just saying I was bullied. I didn't have any lunch money. My mom packed my lunch, to be honest.
Jack, who the hell was bullying you?
I'm sure I was getting bullied. I was getting bullied for sure. They used to call me the fridge.
They used to call you the fridge.
They used to call me Fez because I didn't know English back then.
Oh, wait, is that the guy from that 70s show?
Yeah.
That's actually funny.
Chris, you were in ESL classes?
I was.
Me too. Even though I don't know why I was in them.
Well, maybe because you didn't know English.
Yeah, but it was like 1st grade. Give me a chance.
Well,
Even what the frick? They didn't even give me a chance. Production in the back laughing at Jack.
Oh. Well, I'll be your teacher, guys.
Now I'm a beast. I could spell and I can write.
Oh,
we're good. And I can read.
You got me beat. I can't read, write, or spell.
Oh, that's right. You did say you're bad at spelling, right?
Horrible.
We just got to look at numbers. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when you've been on a computer for so long, like I've been in chat rooms for over a decade, so I don't spell anything correctly, you know, like I'm just like over here with one hand on a keyboard, one hand on a mouse, like, you know, like I kind of know how most things are spelled. I'm not going to win any spelling bees, but you know, like
where does the comma go now?
That I have a problem with.
Oh my God. All right. I'll teach you guys that. Don't worry.
Thank you. We can have English classes after we do trading classes. So your teacher must have been better than mine.
I just used to pay attention.
That is something I've always had an issue with.
Fractal goes, Salma knows how to read. She just refuses to. Yeah, I don't like to read books. Not ones that I'm forced to read. Oh my God, Jack, you would hate me because I have autocorrect turned off on my phone.
I mean, I wouldn't hate you for that. I just feel like I'd fit in
perfectly then.
Yeah. I do too, because I don't know. I feel like
you need it turned on.
I probably do need it turned on, but I don't even know how to turn it on. You're going to have to walk me through like you walk packs through.
Dude, you're another Pax and Jim. Come on.
All right, come on. I'll do it right now.
Just go to settings and look up autocorrect at the top.
Right, I'm doing it.
Look at this, guys.
How do you spell autocorrect?
Oh, okay. No, you're
I'm kidding. Okay. I don't know. Auto capitalization. Okay. All right, we're good.
You guys, you never know what kind of conversations we're going to have on stream. So I got to show up every day.
The Learning Center. That's where I went to grade school. The Learning Center. The Learning Center. All right, come on. Give me some TPs here. Get new.
Wait, what are you in? Hold on.
Sure. Come on. Look at the YouTube.
Yeah. I'm looking. Okay, why is it
I'm trying to pick the most trending markets. This was my little scanner here. Okay, you see, we'll go down to CL. Where are we? CL.
Oh, you're up nice. You're chilling.
I'm chilling. Well, I mean, I'm not out of any of these targets. I actually stretched them out a bit, moved them down because I figured it was either going to work or not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like if it's going to work, it's going to go pretty far. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to get stopped out anyway. So I stretched out some of my first targets on these trades. But yeah, I mean, this is my little scanner here. I try to follow, like, most importantly, the trend bias here first and foremost. And then if I can get corresponding signals. So like CL is bullish, you know, both MCL and CL, they're primarily going to read the same, but that is the only market reading bullish on my scan. And then everything else bearish, including currencies. So I'm a little weary of going long into the indexes here unless I see that flip, especially, you know, you can have like a shake and bake consolidation here. NASDAQ was bullish earlier. That's changed. But the Russell and the Dow have been kind of on the bear side of things all day. So if I were to go short any indexes, I would pick those two.
Yeah, nothing's happening here for me.
I'm not seeing anything either. Before the stream, I was short ES, and I was in that short for so long that, like, as soon as 2 o'clock hit and we started to drop, I just exited real quick. And of course, without fail, as soon as you guys exit a position, like, market ends up going straight to your TP. And so, yeah, now I don't really have much here to do. Although if I were to short something, I hate to say it, but it would probably be NQ. The RR there is the best. Have a tighter stop.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I think on earnings, there's two important levels I have below. One of them is 27,050 and the other one is right around 26,900.
mhm.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see like one of those earnings moves where we just go bing, bing. So I'm actually going to set a limit at 26,900, just nice and small overnight.
Oh, you're gonna play earnings. You are tripping, my friend.
I'm throwing a limit out there that's, you know, 300 points below where we're currently trading. So I bet it's just going to trade. I'm just going to trade in small size. I'm honestly not even going to use a stop. I'm probably going to take a few micros and just let it rip, because if that thing holds, I want to run it to new all-time highs. And I would not be surprised to see it just one of those quick rips down, and then I just don't see this earnings cycle tanking the market.
Okay.
I see it just being a buy-op.
I forget exactly what Craig said earlier in the show, in the morning show. I don't know if he's still here, but he did say that anytime we've had heavy tech earnings match up with FOMC days, that has marked like the local top for a while. So your trade could still work out though, because, you know, NQ can come down, fill your limit, come back up. You'll probably be in profit. You'll exit, and then, you know, the other earnings could potentially just send us dropping more.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I've seen that type of a play out
100%.
where it's like where you have, you know, whoever on the front end of the tech. I don't know if it's always the same, to be completely honest. That's a Craig question, but you know, front end of the tech drops us in, and then we end up reversing out of those lows, and that's just a price level I've been looking for really since last Friday.
Yeah.
So, and it's one of those price levels that, you know, unless you want to stick your neck out when in some event like that, like, you really just, you know, those are the trades that pay.
Yeah. Chris, you playing any earnings?
Just in the names that I'm long already. I was long BE. I had a nice gap up. I was long Teradyne as well, but I had a gap down. I'm long SNDK, Amazon, Google. What else has earnings?
Wait, like, are you? Well, how much time you have on those counts?
No, I trade shares.
Oh, okay, shares. Okay, you're good. Yeah, you should be fine. Thought you were out here being a degen.
I used to trade options, but I just.
Are we long 100% of the portfolio cash wise? Are we long 150% of the portfolio?
No, I've cut cut size down a lot. Got to manage this uncertainty.
Yeah, it's called the markets. Uncertainty is another name for the stock market. Man, if this oil starts coming back to my entry, I'm just going to blast out of it, though. I don't really feel like sticking around after feeling to push up there.
Key the Smith says, new to this channel. Could you guys tell me what you were watching? My screen is a bit small. First off, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. Me and Chris are both cash. Jack is the only one in a position right now. He's got gold shorts and he's got crude longs, both of which are green at the current moment.
And yeah, what do you guys? It looks like Chris has got the NASDAQ on there. You got, was that ES and NQ?
ESYM.
Oh, ESYM.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
So you're looking at, I can understand with a small screen how this would be hard to see 5 different markets.
Yeah.
No, 5 different markets.
Is there a way for you guys to do watermarks on your charts, like on Ninja?
Probably.
That would probably help.
I feel like I can't even read yours, to be honest.
In what sense? My watermark?
Like I can't read like the one on the right. I can't even. I just looked at the price of the
Here,
index.
how about now?
Well, it's just because you have a 30-minute chart which overlaps. There you go. I mean, now I can.
Yeah, and then same here. I'll just move it.
Is your favorite color purple?
Who, mine?
Yeah.
No.
Your chart and then your background light is sort of the same color.
They're blue, bro.
What's blue?
it's
Bro,
blue.
Blue in what world? What world?
What?
You're saying the
Guys?
light in your room is blue?
Oh, no. I thought you said my charts.
Yeah, that's like pinkish purple.
No, guys.
Yo, that is not
referred to as indigo.
Hold on. No, look at the here.
Look at the price. It's pink. It's a pink box.
Guys, how do I? Here you go. This is the key thingy.
No, the other color.
Of what? My candles?
Pink.
The candle?
It's pink.
That's just the watermark.
No.
The only things pink on my chart are the watermark and the 9 EMA indicator.
It's same colors.
Nah. You guys are giving me a complex. Chat is saying those are purple. You guys know. Sorry, you're bugging. Respectfully, you guys are bugging.
James Woodruff, I'm sure you have discussed, but the headings on your market analyzer, where did you get those? Those are just inputs, like custom inputs you can create in there. So it's just like, you got your micros, your metals, your different types of futures here. It's just a labeling in it.
What am I thinking? What levels do I want to be involved in? I mean, just not much. I trade NQ primarily, and we're stuck in this range. So if I was maybe in scalping mode, which I never really are, I would be buying these lows into 160s, 180s, and then shorting well, I wouldn't short because we are in an uptrend. I don't like doing that. But let's say we do hold up here, then we would need to see some acceptance, consolidation up here, maybe near London's high around 280s, and then that can set up the move. As long as we reclaim this 230s, 240 zones and we hold up here, that can set up the move to this overnight high, which is around 318 or so. And then if we continue higher, we can see scenario 1.2. But so far, I created scenario 1 here to be a range, and we are doing that. And just, we're just not really going anywhere. maybe a failed breakdown into 120s, 130s. I don't know.
So I'm gonna have to go get her crayon box so she can match the colors. Find out what purple really is. I'll tell you what level I would like. So the Nasdaq full 50% resistance short from the week's high is 27,276, and that about area has definitely been resistance here today. Also, we are at the current midpoint of the prior day, which is 27,000. There's 76 right there. We just tagged in the NQ. I would imagine we don't go too far past here, but I would agree with Chris. We are in an uptrend. And the 50% retracement from the prior day's low is 27,163, and that's been support here all morning. So
Oh, we're breaking out here.
yes, we are.
All right, so I may be interested here if we can pull back, hold the pullback. It means we hold this breakout attempt and then see higher prices.
Yeah, real fat move. 72-point bar on that first 5-minute move up there. Just continuing since. Salma, show us the crayons.
Wait, I'm like so confused. What about my chart is purple?
We've
The
moved
down
past
candle.
that.
Could it just be that my trading view, like the window you guys are watching, is like on the crappy monitors?
Wait, do you
Like
got
the
the girl version
quality?
of TradingView? They have a girl
Oh.
version of TradingView that just has different hues. I'm not sure if that's the one.
Wait, what? I'm getting trolled.
And they also charge more too, which is crazy.
All right, I'm reading too many charts, too many chats here. I don't know, guys. If it's purple, then it's purple.
I kind of like it.
Here, wait. Let's I'm gonna full screen and you guys tell me what about this is purple?
I mean, I think the down candles are like a light hue of purple. They're not
Oh,
like
it's blue. It is
Could
blue.
be. It could be.
I Clauded this. I asked Claude for its opinion to make these charts.
It's like a bluish purple.
All right, whatever. People are saying I'm colorblind. I'm not. Thank you very much.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this. There is a poll. I know what I'm saying. I'm going with blurple.
Violet. All right, it is definitely not violet.
A dull lavender. That's a good explanation.
Yeah, I can do that.
Here we go.
What color are oranges? The same color as this line here that I have on YM. That's orange, right, guys? I'm not colorblind.
Well, we turned around there in a lot of markets.
I like that.
I'm really looking for a pullback to buy.
This is aggressive.
So here's the real question, guys. Is this a retest for entry on shorts, or is this the face ripper into end of the day? Your guess is as good as mine right now.
I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, I don't even know. That's a tough one.
It is so
mean,
hard here. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
is this okay? Here's the way to put it. Is this past the close into earnings? Because it's like I feel like it's multiple setups here. Like you have the, into the earnings trade, which, I mean, I think the eventual resolution of earnings is higher in a week. I think in a week from today, we're higher than we are right now. That's my assumption.
Oh, there's Deli. Deli says bonds are still weak, not convinced this market turns around for the day just yet. Yeah, so like I see conflicting things here because to me, YM looks like a bear flag. This retest of the 9 EMA should be, another leg down on shorts, but we are at a key support area here where at the beginning of the stream, I did say I'd like to see buyers step in, and that's exactly what they did. Very tough. Very, very, very tough here. Chat, are you guys long, short, nothing?
We're right at the resistance levels that we've been at all day. So it's 3:00. I want to see where we are. We're running into my 5th bar rule here in the next 5 minutes. So I would be hard pressed to want to buy highs up here going into earnings. I'd be much more interested in a deeper pullback.
Profractal, that's crazy. 1 like equals 1 support for Salma's battle with color blindness.
Wow.
I didn't know it was a battle.
We need some like Sarah McLachlan, some like really depressing music to put over. In
Guys,
the
please
arms of the angels.
pump up the likes. It would really make me feel better about my color blindness.
Fly away from here.
Thanks, Fractal. I'm not alone.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to short anything, it'd be the YM. Like I said, I really am more interested in, if it is a reversal, shorting the weakest market up here.
I mean, it's a place to short.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this is the area, but
yeah,
I'm okay. I'm good off this right now.
We're right at this. It's so tempting.
Oh wait, what are the poll results so far? 37 people say it's purple, 34 people say it's blurple. 12% say it's blue, 18% say it's gray black. Guys, what?
That's
18% of you think my chart is black or
well,
gray?
I tell you what, ain't nobody thinking it's blue, Salma.
All right, well, take it up with
60%
Claude.
of the time, it works every time.
Darkness, yeah, I'm good. I'm not touching anything here. I honestly don't like trading FOMC days.
I mean, I want to short the NQ, but man, it's just been the strongest all day. But we are right at highs. I need to see where we are. And I'll tell you what. If we trade the full halfway back long from lows, I'll bid that. That's what I'll do. 27,239 area. I'll pull my little, see if anything's aligned here. Yeah, NQ. NQ's bullish across the board here on my scanner. Trend bias, bar type, ATR trend. So I like, and that's really the only thing right now that is kind of, at least on this move, NQ. So with that being said, I guess I can look long. Let me find where I want to go, though.
That's a strong hourly candle on NQ.
All right. Let me pull it up.
Let me see. You probably are liking the 50% halfway mark.
Yeah, I mean, that would be
253. No.
I don't know if we're gonna get that. The most aggressive bid here would be like 270. Yeah, 273, 272. Is that what you said? 273.
No, what would that be? Like a 25%?
That's just a more aggressive fib.
No.
Yeah. And we're
50% looks
right now.
like 240-ish or so.
Yep. Yeah, 240 would be ideal. I just don't know if we're gonna get it. It just depends on how aggressive we set up here. But there's that 73 right now. I need to go to a 1 minute time frame to
I like 250s.
let me see, make sure my
250s would be a good spot. Salma, you short it, I'll buy it, and then whoever makes money will just
Deal.
ice stream on them.
Deal.
All right. Picked up a long there at that 70 level. We'll see. Needs to continue. Otherwise, it's going to get to 40s. CL moving back my way too.
All right, should I do it?
Wait, what are you doing?
Chris just told me to go short.
Oh,
You
okay.
you're supposed to go short at resistance, not when it's down 30 points already.
You said to full port shorts.
Don't say I said that.
Full port
Run,
shorts.
run the tape, guys.
Oh, you can hit the rewind button on YouTube.
Yo, I love that GIF. You guys ever seen that GIF? The liar
Here we
GIF?
go. Come on. I tell you what, I've been in this CL trade long enough. I'm going to take a third off. I'm going to move my stop up. I've just been in it so long. I don't like sticking around in a full position for that much
We can
time.
get I like this area too. If we can get a setup here. One of my setups to get long.
34.
Darkness, I do trade full time.
She actually teaches art class. in her free
That
time.
too. Yep. Teach people about blue and purple.
Yeah, I did trade the IB strat today. It was a losing day for it. It doesn't do well in chop. It needs expansion. So yesterday was a big day for it. Today it lost. We'll see what it closes at the end of the month. Big month for it though already.
Come on,
I didn't even know that's what GIF stood for. Graphics Interchange Format.
I do not fade the IB strat. That should trades on a separate account. So if I am trading counter to that, then it's my own discretionary or my own different strategy.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
All right, getting a little bit of movement off of my aggressive buy here. A lot of times when you have that, super fast move up, if we get it's either just going to fail or it's like straight up or not at all is kind of my theory on this trade. So I've not a great position from like location wise to buy along, but if we're going to go straight up, we're just not going to get that deeper pullback here. Oh, there's my first target. So I had a first target pretty close there, just kind of a retest of highs, expecting an immediate bounce. So a third off, immediately reducing some of that risk. And if I can get that second target, my stop will go to break even and we'll just ride out the final.
So strong.
I'm going to move my stop below that low here, move that stop up, which basically takes me to almost break even on the trade if it does come out and take me out. Oil's creeping back up here too, though.
It is not green, Salma.
It's
Are you sure
gray.
you
It's gray.
teach-
It's
are you sure
gray.
you
It's
teach
gray. It's gray.
Drawing classes.
I changed my mind. It's gray. God.
Are you
And
sure you're
then-
not colorblind?
Jack is wearing like a cheetah, whatever. What is that print? That's a cheetah print
It's
or
actually
a
lion.
leopard?
It's lion.
Lion print.
Lion print.
It's a zebra. You can't even get the animals right, Salma. What's going on?
Even the best fall down sometimes.
Even the wrong words seem to rhyme.
Yeah. What's the line after that shit?
I was hoping Chris would pick it up. Even the best fall down sometimes.
I love that song. It's actually a great one.
It's not James Blunt. I think that's Howie Day.
It is, yeah. Collide.
Y'all ain't never seen a zebra as ferocious as this.
James Blunt. Bro, you are so off. James Blunt sings beautiful.
Oh, here we
Ooh,
go.
We're gonna pick up here.
Final target on this trade. I got second target's going to be, there it goes. There's my second target. Stop move to break even. Final target's going to be 24s here, 27,324. I don't know what he's saying, but the market likes it.
Hey,
Set up for me. Enjoy it.
why is Jude saying I'm exhausted? I have so much energy, guys.
Either that or we get that high and jam back. New high in the ES. The MNQ took out highs and the NQ didn't there. If my data is correct.
What high are you referring to?
I'm talking about the 3 o'clock high, and it's now 3:11. And I'm showing on one of my platforms that we didn't take out the high, but the MNQ did.
Oh yeah.
What the hell?
Somebody must have had a fat stop there. Interesting. You regret reducing? I'm not sure what that means. Do I regret reducing? Do I regret taking profit? Is that your question? Do I regret systematically trading? Is that your question?
You regret following your rules.
Jack, do you regret doing what
Do
you want to do with
applying
your
the
money?
system? Do you regret that? Yeah. You know what else I regret? A lot of things, but you know what? I still do them anyway. I regret the NQ contract I bought 10 years ago below 10,000, but you know, it's all right. I didn't hold on to it.
Just roll at every expiration
I regret not doing that.
for life. Wonder if there's been anybody that's done that, like a big fund or something.
I have a buddy who's rolled a short from April lows of last year. I'm like,
holding?
I actually think he covered it finally on this last drop.
Wait, a short?
Yeah, he was kept rolling a short. He got short out of the April rally with the tariff lows of 2025. Or no, yeah, 2025.
You shorted the hole.
He shorted in the hole, but it's all right. He was just working his way out of it. I mean, he held it for like basically a year, rolling it. I don't know how big it was, but I'm sure it was pretty, at least a 6-figure loss minimum.
Oh, it has to be.
I mean, maybe seven, probably
You're
7.
trading micros.
Probably 7, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's all right. He makes plenty. All right. Great reaction here. I mean, should I just hold this into earnings?
Are you going to keep holding your crude?
Yeah, I took a third off. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably going to take another third off if we pop up here. I don't know if we're going to get those highs.
Looks like we're flagging, but I mean, you don't want this to.
Here we come. Here
We're
comes the
pushing out.
target. Here comes the target.
It's a good thing I didn't listen to Chris.
Yeah.
Wow, that was a horrible noise. I'm going to take another third off and just put my stop at break even. I regret taking profits. I regret it already. All right, just took the final bit of my NQ off, and I took another third of my CL off and have put my final position at break even. I am interested in relonging again here, and if we can get a pullback. So I'm going to place another order to get long NQ at 87 quarter. Actually, I can move that up and continue to buy pullbacks here into the bell.
He's still speaking. Wow.
He's got a lot to
Last
say.
one.
I
Might
don't think
be-
he wants to let this go. Yeah.
Might be his last conference. He's enjoying that podium.
Back in my day.
Oh, he's probably so sad.
Oh, Salma, that's so nice that you care.
I'm being empathetic to a man who doesn't even know I exist.
Yeah.
But he's all I've ever known as Fed chair, so. Pal, the memes.
It's very cute.
Yeah. This is what happens when you don't have friends. Robin, who doesn't have friends?
I don't have friends. Spend my whole day at the desk.
Yeah, I think all three of us at least 10 hours
guys,
a day.
I spent a lot of time here, but I have friends.
All my friends were in Miami 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I miss you guys.
Yeah, LA trip, August.
I tried to download Friend Finder and I accidentally downloaded Feet Finder and
What?
In Miami?
Yeah, it was bad news.
What is going on
I know you
here?
were hooked on it those days.
Yeah. I was like, this does not look like the friends I was promised. I don't know what's going on, but people are really weird here.
That's why you were looking at all of our feet. You're like, do I recognize this foot?
Yeah, I was seeing if I could catch one of you guys, but those toes were covered with Ferragamos. Couldn't tell. All right, bidding 27,288 quarter right now in the NQs. Let me bring in my little scanner here, and what this is like. The reason I was so aggressive with that long, is when I see something bullish across the board on all three, I can be more aggressive. I do like deeper pullbacks, but also the speed of that move out of the low. We would been in a consolidation all day, and then this move started up. It was like 72 points, just straight up. This light blue bar is what I refer to as a trend bar, which is an indicator that I have that marks at three or more of my bullish indicators have flipped in a 25-minute period. And that's why I was aggressive with that long, and I'll be aggressive again, just buying a retest of that area we consolidated in. But I gravitated towards the NQ because it was, across here, it was the only one that was bullish on every time frame that I'm looking at here. So I don't have anything else besides MET, which I really don't even trade. That's bearish. So I'm going to trade some MET. And that's down 3% today.
Wow, we're really pushing here.
Micro Ether futures. I don't know. What is that? What is the volume? Maybe I should start trading this. I don't know what the volume is, though. It's like fairly liquid. The spread's not too wide, though. It's actually decent size on both sides. Huh. No friends, 22 grandkids. They say that that's something to be proud of. Congratulations to you. My goodness. That's a lot of kids over for the holidays.
That's 2 basketball teams. No, how many basketball teams is that? That's 4. A lot of basketball teams.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Yep.
You play basketball? You ball? Do you ball?
No, I just watch the Knicks. I don't ball.
I can see you balling.
I just golf.
You
Even
golf?
that
Wait,
I don't even
no
do.
way. You golf?
You a golfer?
Guys, what? Thought you guys knew this.
I didn't know this.
I'm sorry. It's not like we track your life to know what you do on your free time.
I mean, it's literally right above me. I have a golf thingy. I mean, you can't really see it now that I put Brunson bobblehead up there, but
Yeah. We also only get a box of you. You know, we don't
yeah,
get
that's unfortunate. Unfortunate, guys.
What color is your golf set?
What color is your Bugatti?
orange.
Can't tell you guys. I'm colorblind.
I didn't know you were an Andrew Tate fan.
Robin says, "Damn, I see something." Guy, what is Robin saying today? Robin, you're saying a whole lot. The frick? I don't have friends. He sees me differently. What does that even mean? What?
You're moving different after Miami.
Chris, you better be quiet. Don't cállate la boca. Don't even say anything.
Cállate la boca. What does that even
Boca. Boca, dude.
mean? Boca. All right, Boca.
Come on.
Boca.
What levels am I looking for?
We didn't even get back to my level. I'm going to move my bid up here to 99 quarter.
Same levels as before. We are breaking out of this. God damn, what's going on here? We're breaking out of this range that we've been in. We're into this 310s area. If we can form some acceptance, I mean, that becomes like a good opportunity. But, you know, with 35 minutes left, that initial breakout move was the move that we just saw in the last 20 minutes or 30 minutes. And then on this, you know, after Jack got long, I just didn't get a setup for my strategy to look for a long here. So by the time something possibly sets up, it'll maybe be 1240 or 340 and just not worth it anymore.
Nope, there we go. Just got filled here and CL breaking out. Actually moved my target up.
Yeah, he's still going. He's still talking. Probably no trade for me, honestly.
I would be really surprised if this ends up hitting all of its targets. But we'll give it 25 minutes. Set my handy dandy kitchen timer, ladies and gentlemen. Keep me aware of how long I'm in trades for.
Santiago, I took Spanish for 2 years. Of course I know how to say a couple words.
Hola.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Bien,
I talked to, huh?
I said bien, too.
Okay, see, you know how to say that correctly. Good job, Jack.
I lived in Mexico and Costa Rica.
Bro, what haven't you done?
There's a first target there in NQ. There's a couple things I haven't done. Haven't been to jail.
I can't say the same.
Oh, Chris.
Tell the story.
No, I can't.
No, it's all right. I can't. He goes, I can't. It's that bad. It's all right. You can tell me later. I'll bring it up on air.
I was a different person back then, all right, guys?
You've learned. You've learned.
How long ago are we talking about?
Christian was gang banging.
Hey, yo, what?
He's from
Bro.
LA. He's from LA. All right, that was a pretty clean entry there in the NQ again. So second target about to get hit. Final target is going to be up at 23,362. And man, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we completed that, but I'm actually like, I'm just kind of taking these trades because they're within my system. Like I said, NQ kind of flipped really hard there. We broke out of highs, and I'm just buying pullbacks based on my system and setting targets based on my system. But like sometimes you just actually get surprised it works because it doesn't look like it's going to. Second target coming in here. Come on. Come on, Buster.
Luca, your wife's gonna think you are going crazy.
His wife's like, you laugh more at your phone than with me.
All right, Powell is out. Press conference is done.
Did he mic drop at the end there?
I don't know, but you better keep. I kind of liked when he was talking.
Wait, he came back. He just came back. Did he just come back? Am I watching this live? Oh, no, it's a replay. Okay, whoa, I was about to say, yo, did he just come back? Say something crazy?
I don't even know if this is considered scalping. I don't look at footprint. I don't ever. There's nothing I do with confirmation. But I mean, that'd be sick if I did, but I don't. Maybe I'll check out the free DOM once I see the boys like using it a bunch because I'm on air with them enough. But no, I'm just trading the system.
Yeah, but it won't help you because you have your order in place. And if it comes down, you're getting filled. You're not looking to see what the DOM is doing, you know? True.
But I could like be ready to maybe have my order in place and then like, I don't know. I mean, you're right. It wouldn't help me.
Yeah, Cooper said it perfectly here.
Go ahead, read it out loud.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually, if you're wondering where I got that level, ladies and gentlemen, that's where I got it. Yeah. So, did somebody say footprint?
Strong here. Semis are strong. What are cyclicals doing?
This whole time I was learning about the wrong footprint. I thought I had an edge over here. Been looking at footprints all day, and little did I know it's not talking about the same thing. Just keep Googling footprints. All right, second target hit, stop move to break even here, and we'll take the runner.
Crude about to make new high day here for you.
I can't believe they're both working at the same time.
Yeah.
I think I'm just going to take highs. I don't know. I mean, I'm not allowed to talk about this on air, but I think they're going to do something again. That there's a reason crude's moving up.
Who is they?
They as in the U.S. government.
The white vans.
So if this is his last one, when does the new Fed chair come on? You guys know?
Tracy's in the chat. She'll tell us.
Tracy?
Just default sophisticated questions to Tracy.
And he already has been picked, right? By the president?
I believe so, Kevin Warsh. But he hasn't been approved by Congress.
So she just wrote in the chat, he just passed the Senate Banking Committee vote earlier today. That was the last hurdle. He should pass the full Senate vote easily. So basically, yeah, Warsh is the guy.
KTS, did anything signal a late IB trade? No. And I'll tell you why. The IB trade needs to trigger for, are you saying for ES or NQ? You don't specify. The IB trade needs to trigger inside the IB. So if you look at ES where it came from, the IB support or the low is here around 71, what is that, 48, 49? So anything that triggers like a reversal down here, it's not an IB trade because the rules that I created are for it to trigger inside. And the reason being is that if you're seeing a lot of selling pressure for that day and you're below the IB, then that's typically a downtrending day. And trying to buy the low with a tape like this, it means you're going to go through a lot of stops, right? Like here, you got stopped out. Here, you got stopped out on the new low. So by the time it plays out, maybe you already went through 2 or 3 stops, and having an additional, requirement to where you need to look for an opportunity needs to be in place. So for example, the requirement for me is that once a low is put in, price needs to bounce, then pull back and then trigger the reversal there. In me waiting for that, I avoided trying to buy the lows and avoided multiple stops. I buy the higher low essentially against that day, and it pushes out. But sometimes during chop, it's not going to work out. Like today, the trade took, the trade limit is 2 trades. So those 2 trades were losers. So it's a -2R day for the strategy. But yesterday was a big winner. It hit 3.5R. So yesterday I made 3.5R. Today I lost 2R. So I'm up 1.5R on, in the last 2 days. So it's just different rules here in play that you guys don't see. But it was a great month. So we'll see what May does.
So I took off that final third of the position as we were coming back in because it looked like it was going to get stopped to break even. So I took it off for, I don't know, like 5 to 8 points. I don't really know exactly where it is. And I've relimited just a little bit below. We're about to come in, and there it is. Just a little bit of a lower level here. Oil really breaking out, getting up to that target. So a lot of times there's like 2 different levels. I'll buy that first one, get that first bit off. And then if it looks like we're coming back in just for like a lower touch, I'm still bullish the indexes here. But if we do reverse on this position and actually take out my stop, then that would kind of end my bull theory here. But this oil is really moving higher, which could actually put a little pressure from an arbitrage perspective into some of these indexes into the close. That's a dollar. There you go. Here we go. Oil target hit.
Damn, that would have been a really good short.
Yeah, I told you. Why didn't you take it?
Please. I still wouldn't have taken it only because there's so much divergence. I mean, it looks best on YM, but ES and Q really strong there on the 30-minute. So
that's the 9 MA, right? What you have in blue?
In blue?
The moving average?
In pink, you mean? This?
Oh, it is pink.
Squiggly.
Okay.
Yeah, the squiggly line. Yeah, that's a 9 EMA. Stop trying to confuse me.
You like to short those bounces into it.
Yeah, like I always look at the retest of 9 EMA either for longs or shorts. But I would have taken this setup because it just was a failed breakout, basically. You have the 9 EMA as confluence. We rejected previous week low on YM, and then we closed as a doji. This is literally prime setup for shorts. But again, I wouldn't have taken it. Too many things.
Oh, I forgot I had this order to short YM, never got filled.
I was about to say.
Yeah, YM would be the first thing I'd chase lower here. But I don't know. I'm a little undecided in what the indexes are going to do at this point. And we now have 25 minutes left, so that might be it for me.
Yeah, maybe back to chop.
Bullish. Full halfway back long, I might take in the NQ if we get it.
You took the short NES. Awesome. That rejected right off the 71, 68, 70 zone here, which was pretty much morning resistance. Just nothing but a big old range today for ES. Didn't really move much. Just gonna have to wait and see what earnings are. Man, BE so strong.
Yep, QQQ trader. That's a good thing to point out as well. Tomorrow's end of the month, so you can expect a lot of volatility, especially around the close. And that so happens to be the same time that two of these gentlemen will be competing against each other in a ninja competition that you guys should all be signed up for.
Wait, Chris, do we know what products are in that?
Are you not prepared for your own competition?
If that means
Do
I
you
need
want
to-
me to tell you?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do want
Salma,
you to tell me. I
please.
really don't know.
I got you 1 second, please. Stand by.
In the meantime, guys, yeah, tune in tomorrow. Sign up for the competition. Watch us
Okay.
duke it out.
Yeah, and
Here's what you guys can trade for tomorrow. You have max position sizing, 2 minis for ES and NQ, and then you have 3 micros for Bitcoin, crude, and gold.
And that is a real photo of us, ladies and gentlemen.
I took it.
Yeah.
I was there to take that.
We were suited and booted.
Haters will say it's fake.
Wait, 2 minis, NQ, ES, and then micros. What was it?
3 micros for Bitcoin, gold, and crude. That should be fun.
Okay.
All right, you guys better make me proud.
Thought you were competing as well.
Anytime,
I am.
Mom.
I might be. Oh yeah, you guys need to make sure with Nick that everybody is out of their positions by 4 p.m. Eastern time. No ifs, ands, or buts, because there is earnings tomorrow for.
Wait, why do I don't care to play that rule?
Wait, hold on. I'll tell you why.
Wait, what rule?
Wait, I'll tell you guys.
Made up rule.
Apple and SNDK are both reporting after the bell. You guys might want to agree to be done at 4 because Nick has tendencies to continue holding, and that is how he always wins.
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it.
All right. So then if you guys want to be trading for another extra hour, then be my guest.
Well, whatever. I mean, if somebody, clearly is performing into 4 o'clock and then somebody gets lucky after 4:15, whatever, it's all in good fun.
All right. You heard it here first, guys. They
I'm
do
not
not
gonna-
care.
I mean, as long as the competition allows, who are we to make our own rules?
Well, actually, I think the thingy is meant to be till 4.
All right, then if it's still 4,
Oh, no, I lied. It says 2 to 5. Yeah, never mind.
Oh, I'm not going to trade after the close.
Well, I don't think any of you guys should, honestly, but
Well, Nick will probably try and one-up us by...
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if Nick swings 2 minis in the after hours and beats us all, then so be it. I mean, if there's a setup there, I'll take it, but I'm not just going to throw it on an earnings call just because I'm trying to catch the lead, but it's anybody's game. It's anybody's game.
Yes, it's stronger now.
I should put that back on my screen. Oh, wow. Yeah, we're gonna. Interesting. Yeah, I think ES is going to 71, 73 here.
Oh, that's a nasty wick on crude.
Yeah. Well, they saw me exit and everybody left.
Let me find out you are the MM, Jack.
I have the white van.
Let me find out.
Don't tell anybody.
Any thoughts on what, Shap? What the earnings are coming out? No thoughts on that. Just see what happens here. I'm long many names, and either tomorrow will be a good morning or not.
We probably pin here into the
Alongside
close. What do you guys think?
Pin what?
Just like stay around here into the close.
Yeah, very well could.
I tried a long, but I closed it. Now I'm gonna take a full stop.
We got 20 minutes left. If that low holds, I think we can jam back up to highs. But if it doesn't, then yeah, probably do nothing. I'm reading about this, the Avis thing and that short rule where if an insider owns more than 10% of the company and they take profits with less than 6 months, they owe profits to the company. You guys
Really?
heard about this?
No.
So basically, Pentwater, which owned a bunch of Avis, and part of the reason it was getting squeezed is because any stock they sold, if they have owned it less than 6 months, the profits of that trade go to the company.
What?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of this rule?
No.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it before, but it is a legitimate rule. I read about it when this was all going on because people were speculating. That's why Pentwater wasn't willing to part with their shares, because then basically Avis can come after Pentwater for any profits made on that position of less than 6 months. And I forgot what the rule is. Somebody in the chat might know, but they ended up making $1.75 billion in gross proceeds on their April 22nd, April 23rd stock shares. And Avis is going to come after them.
Wow.
Dude, somebody needs to go to jail for that. Like, it's just been a pump and dump.
I mean, that's just market mechanics.
Nah.
I feel like GameStop had more illegitimate stuff going on than like what they did.
I don't know. This was crazy. And then they kept halting it every like couple minutes. Yeah, I don't know.
James, I would say yes.
The short swing
We
rule,
were
yep.
in a one-directional market for the last month, which is an amazing market for trend followers. The trickier part in trading futures or day trading starts typically after we end a move like that and start going through some consolidation.
Yeah, it's called the short swing rule. Check it out. It's pretty interesting. I've never seen it applied personally. It was like from the 30s or something.
Did you decide if you're going to hold your long
I mean,
into earnings?
no, I'm not. I mean, we have 15 minutes left of this day. I will either be stopped out or out of 2/3 at least. I will not be holding that into close.
Okay, I like it. Andre, I don't think you necessarily have to avoid trading tomorrow. If there was a day to really avoid trading, it should have been today. Tomorrow, you just need to know that there may be some volatility towards the end of the day. Just be mindful of the fact that, it is the end of the month.
Yeah, and on top of that, also it depends on your strategy. Whatever happens outside should not interfere with how you execute your strategy if it tells you to engage.
Another thing too is like if you are afraid to risk your own capital tomorrow, take it as an opportunity to partake in the competition. Ninja will provide you with a paper account that you can just mess around on for the last 2 hours. See how, price action reacts, how things, can be accelerated into the close. Take it as an opportunity to just, partake in the competition and try kind of like just get a feel for how end of the month is.
Yeah, come in. If you're here today, I want you here tomorrow. Miami Vice is showing up.
You literally lose nothing by partaking in these competitions.
Yeah, there was another fund, SRS, I believe, that owned a large portion, and they didn't sell any. And if I had my money with them, I would be like, you guys are absolutely.
They didn't sell any of their shares?
Dude, how crazy is that? What were they thinking?
Cooked.
Absolutely. Unbelievable.
One word, cooked.
Thought I heard something else there, but that word too.
Jack, what is wrong with you, dude?
I just heard cooked. I heard cooked, okay?
Yeah, well, how would you not sell that after it's gone up, what?
600%. It was SRS Capital. They were the 10% shareholders, and the one who was going to get penalized for selling ended up selling because they'd rather fight out the legal battle than miss the exit. I mean, it's going to end up in a legal battle. They kind of did manufacture the short squeeze, so that they might have known what they were doing. But the fact that SRS Capital didn't dump anything, that is, I mean, I don't really think anybody needs to go to jail for that, but I kind of like those moves. I think those are awesome moves to trade. GME was like backdoor dealing. That was different. But this was just.
Yeah, when Hood paused trading for Citadel.
Yeah. There was a couple phone calls made. I was in AMC, and I mean, they literally locked you out from trading, which I was like, I don't know how there's not a lawsuit on that, but I was up, high figures on its stock position and then literally could not exit it. I sold some in the pre-market and then they just locked everybody out and you couldn't even trade it. And it wasn't like a limit up scenario. It was like simply like the price was trading and Robinhood wasn't allowing executions. Or no, it wasn't Robinhood, it was Schwab. A few of them were not.
Oh God, we have news out of Iran. Right
not-
into algo time too.
Will not tolerate naval blockade. Well, looks like you will, because there ain't much you can do when you don't got a navy. That's the unfortunate part.
Attention traders, it's algo time.
All right, here comes my stopper, my target. There we go. That was quick.
Jeez.
I figured it'd just wick me out. All right, what kind of wild moves are we going to have here on this earnings? I think there's a chance we get back to 27,050 in the NQ. In the ES, I'd love to see 7113s. 7113 in the ES and 26,900 in the NQ are my two big levels.
I hope no one in the chat is going to be playing earnings.
I think somebody said they were with some spy calls.
Don't do it.
You want to buy spy calls?
No, not me.
Don't do it. Just trade the reaction tomorrow. And trust me, you will be just donating your money to the market, especially if you are going to be trading short-dated contracts. To use that money, take your mom out, donate it to charity.
Take your mom out?
Do something else with that money. What's up?
Hey.
Yo, what's happening?
What's up, gang?
We got a party going on now.
What's up, Craig?
All good. Earnings time.
Let's go.
Dude, I just went short because I'm gonna get Jack's target.
Oh,
I
where
just-
I'm looking for? Below?
Yeah.
I hope you do, because then I am gonna stick my neck out there down below. I don't know if we're gonna get that low, but I will be limiting 27,900 and in the ES 7113s.
But so let's clarify. Are you gonna initiate a position during the actual when?
Yeah, I'll just put a limit out there and let it trade.
Let it happen.
Yeah. With no stop. I know that sounds crazy.
How about you,
but
Chris? Are you in for the after hours or no?
I'm not gonna trade. No, I'll probably need to manage some of my swings based on how they react.
Got it. And then we already know Salma's answer.
No, I don't believe in earnings. Don't trade them.
Not a believer.
they don't exist.
What is an earning? Do I earn it?
You know what the most amazing thing is about today? I'm looking at an S&P chart right now, and this point of control for the session, the volume point of control, has been pretty sticky all afternoon. 71.60. I mean, we just keep trading around it. Actually, ever since the initial balance. I mean, this is where the market is happy until we get the data. It's crazy. And Craig, we got more than just a couple, right? We have some big ones.
You got the big four: Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, Google. After the close. Yeah, hyperscalers. Everyone's going to want to hear what they have to say on CapEx, returns, and we'll see. That's been the story. The rotation we talked about this morning, just how much the NASDAQ has outperformed since the war started. You had that great chart up this morning about that. But we've traveled a long way into these prints. The expectations are high. The positioning is long. The call buying has been sizable. And so we'll see if they can deliver the high expectations.
What in what order are those earnings getting reported, or in what time?
I think they're all coming right at 4.
Oh wow, they're all coming right at 4.
There may be one at 4:05, but I think they're typically come right at 4.
Okay.
Yeah, like 4:15 the latest. You also have QCOM as well.
Yeah.
That name's been hot. Hot.
Ford, I think. Ford too, if you're in the cars.
All right.
Oh
Well,
man.
So a lot to digest. The Fed and the war and the earnings. Month end tomorrow. Some data tomorrow. PCE tomorrow. So a lot going on.
Yeah. Craig, how did you like Powell's presser?
I was a little surprised that he's staying on, but he wants a protection from the DOJ, and yeah, I thought the hawkishness of the members of the voting members was a little bit outside of what people were expecting. So I think there's some pushback there on what Warsh is going to be able to do when he gets in. But we'll see. I think people will forget about the Fed in about 7 minutes.
I think you're right. I was surprised too that he's come on, man, it's time to retire and move on. But the bond market took those comments hard. I mean, 30-year. I'm looking at the long end, Craig. I know you look at the short end, but that 30-year is down to 112, 22, 30 seconds, which it's kind of a big break to the downside.
Yeah, I mean, the long end, I think, is less about Powell, more about energy. And I mean, you've seen the dollar, obviously, rallying too. And so, Japan, Europe, UK, more expensive energy to buy. And so yields are moving up at the long end there. And that should be more pressure for equities. But, right now, AI is holding everything together.
Dude, this is Pitbull and Zach Brown. Nothing's going to stop us now. No.
I was like, where's he going with that one?
I mean, it's crazy. I've been bearish for like 4 days in a row, and I just get no satisfaction.
Well, you're seeing a little bit of you're seeing a little divergence now, right? The Nasdaq up, Russell down, S&P flat.
Yeah. So great job, you guys, today. Appreciate you, Salma, Christian, and Jack for being with us this afternoon. Awesome job. Let's give these guys a round of applause, please.
I thought you were going to stop at Salma.
No.
There was a long pause there. I thought you were going to stop at Salma.
I had a very important instant message.
Oh. There we go.
From Tracy. So I just stopped and read that one. I told her I just had a whole bag of pistachios. She said she's jealous. But I have a stomach ache, so she shouldn't be too jealous.
Very important conversations are being had.
That's right. While I still have you guys, before you go, tomorrow is Thursday, the day after. Farm's going to be Tape Talk. Selma, you're back to trade the open with XYZ. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And then you're going to be joined by Leo and Stowe, Midday Markets. After that, Craig's going to have a special guest. This is important. 1:35 East Coast time. Or I guess I'm going to have a special guest. Nick Lentz is going to be with us. Yeah, I'm reading the show flow. It keeps changing. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then Jack, Chris, and Nick are coming back to trade the close. So a full day tomorrow.
That's right.
Exciting stuff.
Anyway, that's it, guys. So I'm going to let you guys go. Me and Craig are going to hang out and talk about earnings and watch some charts.
I'll be tuning in. Take care, guys.
Yeah, I'll be in the chat as well.
Have a good day.
Great.
Ciao, guys.
Later, chat.
Later.
I think we're about to start drinking from the fire hose here, Jim. These headlines are going to hit pretty rapid. We get the earnings quickly. Typically, the guidance comes on the conference calls, which are scattered throughout the afternoon. We mentioned that on the show earlier today. Just some of the stuff people will be looking for will come later, but initial reactions are massive. Plus, you have zero data expiry options today for S&P and for many of these names. So there could be some fire. This is, I think, the first earnings report season where there's been Wednesday zero data expiry. So could be a lot of crazy movements here after the bell. Nasdaq closing pretty strong here after the Fed meeting, which was, certainly more hawkish than I think people would have thought with these dissents. Oil closing up near 108, a little bit off the highs, but up 8% on the day.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Volatility, a little bit bid with the May contract of 2025. And so here we go. Qualcomm numbers out, look like a miss there on the top line. So we'll see how that stock reacts. I know people have been getting long that. So
here we go. S&P is making a run up now a little bit. So is Nasdaq. We're actually, NASDAQ's making new highs for the session. It's just anticipating, isn't it?
Yeah, still kind of. And we should get things in the next few seconds here. But Qualcomm's down $5, about 3.5%. So we'll see. I think we're just getting kind of the action here at the close. But dollar finishing at the highs of the day for the most part here. Dollar yen 160.40. Yields, pretty high. Bonds have been pretty weak, as you mentioned. Oil at the highs. Kind of a interesting setup here into these numbers. So,
there we go. Now we got some action.
Amazon and Meta are out. So initial reaction. Headlines are moving fast. But let's see here.
Initial reaction is negative.
Yeah, for both. It looks like Amazon down 5% on these numbers. There's Microsoft. Looks like a top line beat, an operating income beat as well. So a little bit of strength there. So that's opposite of what people probably were positioned. Microsoft has been weak. Amazon had been close to making highs, and so people are long Amazon, short Microsoft, and they're going to get unwound with that positioning right here. Meta is kind of all over the place. Let's just start going through here. But Amazon trading down to 249 versus 263 close. Net sales estimate of 194 to 199 billion of revenues. Estimate was 100 and a forecast was for 198. So a little bit better than expected there. And first quarter sales came in up 28% versus 26% expected. So it doesn't look like it's too. Operating margin 13.1 versus 11.7%, and operating income expectations between 20 and 24 billion versus 22.86 billion. So Amazon seems like it's kind of inline-ish, and I think you're seeing the stock react better now. Kind of the guidance is starting to come out, so now the stock's trading a bit stronger. Meta is weak though. Let me try to dial into that one. I don't know if you're seeing anything of the indices here, but Meta revenue guidance of 58 to 61 billion versus 59.5 expected. So kind of midpoint, right in line with expectations there. The stock's trading a little bit weaker on back, but Microsoft seems like it's the best performer after hours so far. There goes Google too. So
here we go. Now equities are so again, NASDAQ's making highs. We're trying to make highs in the mini S&P as well. It's playing follow a tag, and we're making new highs. Yeah,
it looks like a big number here for Microsoft's Azure. Expected 39% revenue growth for 38.2 expected. So look, I think people have been talking about the underperformance of the software trade, right, and the outperformance of semis. And so now that the Microsoft numbers coming in a little bit better, seeing the software names do a little better after the close. So, and then let's just check Google here. But you're right, Jim. Nasdaq's making a run here for the border, huh?
Yeah, no, it's for sure. So, it's like the S&P is like, I don't know if I want to follow you all the way. It's like, it's got a double tap going on in the session.
Look, I mean, it's kind of what we keep talking about, right? It's where's the incremental money going to come from? It doesn't, it's not clear that we're getting a lot of flows into the more flows into the equity markets. We've had plenty. And so, to the extent that you get these good numbers out of big cap tech, the S&P can go up a little bit given the weights, but something has to balance it out. Something's going to get sold. And so you're seeing, kind of Russell not really reacting to those numbers here, right? It's still kind of trading at, down 70 basis points in the day. Alphabet revenues at 95 billion versus 91.7 expected. So Google numbers look better than expected. Strongest quarter ever for consumer AI plans.
Dude, are those all just ad revenue? How is the revenue so big?
Yeah, that's that's the big driver there. I don't think they break out kind of the Gemini related stuff, but cloud revenue at 20 versus 18. So it looks like an across the board strong top line momentum there. Amazon is still a little bit weaker. Meta is weaker. Microsoft and Google up, and so kind of the net of that is the Nasdaq trading a little bit stronger and the Russell trading a little bit weaker. So. Look, I think, we'll wait to hear from the CapEx guidance for all these names. I think people are going to be keenly focused on whether or not the CapEx numbers are going to go up. Are they going to stay the same? Are they going to get cut? So we'll have to wait and see on that. Probably from the conference calls, I haven't seen any real headlines yet on CapEx from any of these names.
Yeah.
But
what's the free cash flow for some of these guys? Are they reporting yet or no?
Yeah, I mean, I have to kind of walk through it.
Am I getting in the weeds? If I'm getting in the weeds, then just tell me.
I mean, look, I think people are more focused on top line momentum, operating margins, and then the CapEx. Obviously, that you can get into the free cash flow numbers there, but we know the companies are now doing more debt finance to help finance all this CapEx growth, and so it's a change in the the way. The industry is funding itself, and we've been talking about that, but it really hasn't been too much of a deterrent for the Nasdaq, this year, right? I mean, obviously now trading, near all-time highs, but
yeah, it's crazy.
So now we're all over the place here. Look, I think broadly speaking, the numbers are fine, right? Let's just take a step back. These are big growth numbers. Top line growth is strong. Earnings per share numbers are strong. These are the strongest companies in the market, but the positioning is long. And then when you step back, what else is going on is you have yields that are higher, you have a dollar that is stronger, you have oil that is higher, significantly so, right? Yeah. Closing up 8% today, Brent through 120, basically back to the highs that we had, the middle of last month before the ceasefire started. Gasoline prices at the highs. So it's a mixed outlook here for equities as an asset class, but as long as the AI CapEx names can keep performing, hard to see everything unravel rapidly.
Yeah, no, I mean the Nasdaq has this latest 30-minute candle. I know 30 minutes isn't up yet from when the bell rang, but it's a nearly a 200-point candle. So there's a lot of right now it's just sloppy, right? It's not sure where it's going to settle. Maybe it's even waiting for the actual phone calls. I don't know.
Yeah. So here's Meta. I missed this, but it just came out, that the CapEx guidance is an increase, right? So the market is saying it doesn't like to see Meta raising its CapEx. Clearly, Meta is being forced into raising its CapEx in order to keep pace, or they're seeing an increase in the CapEx guidance because of the inflation that's coming from the build out across the board. Yeah. And so stock trading down about 7% as they have guided up CapEx from 115 to 135 to 125 to 145. So a $10 billion CapEx bump is taking the stock down 7%. Clearly a negative reaction to Meta's desire to take their CapEx up. See if other companies are talking anything about the CapEx here.
And by the way, Deli's in the chat, and Deli, you don't know how accurate that statement is right now. Oh man, I know at 4:01 the bell rings. Usually, I'm ready to go. Now it's all right. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. So really interesting. We were talking about this earlier, Craig, that, it's like a triple layer of things going on, right? We had FOMC, that's behind us. We have the earnings, we're up against that right now. And then we have crude oil at $108 almost, which is, what were we up today? Like 8-9%?
Yeah, that was about 8% in front month. Look, I think we're like I mentioned earlier, yesterday we had that headline from OpenAI, which threw some caution onto the semis trade and to the AI trade. And the question was going to be, how did the companies that report today react and respond to that headline, and do the numbers deliver? And if so, then markets probably will feel comfortable about continuing to relatively move capital into that trade because it is kind of impervious to what's going on in the rest of the world. A little facetious, but that's kind of how markets are reacting, right? The U.S. is is impacted less by the crude oil moves. We're a net energy exporter. We have a resilient consumer, a strong high-end consumer. Wealth effects and wealth gains have been strong. And so with the labor market being robust, and we heard it from Chair Powell that, there's no real signs of labor market, deterioration that the Fed is observing currently. That means the 401k inflows are going to continue to be strong. And so hard to get U.S. equities as an asset class really underperforming. And I think you're seeing, that reaction, even here after the bell with Microsoft trading, with Google trading up and Amazon now back to flat. It was down a fair bit. And now I'm going to look back at this Microsoft here because Microsoft now is turned negative. And so maybe there's some incremental headlines, which I didn't grab. Let's see here. CapEx came in a little bit lighter than expected. So I'm kind of looking to see what happened. I think it was maybe the Azure cloud computing revenue guidance maybe not being as or numbers not being as robust, and so you're seeing about a 1% decline in Microsoft now. Meta is definitely the biggest underperformer here. It kind of been the weakest of the names, heading into this, and with them having to raise capex, clearly the markets are not happy to see them do that. So that's a little bit of a concern. But to your point, the markets are having to wrestle with a lot of uncertainty, right? With the oil price moves, with the yield moves, now with this hawkish bent in the Fed. You had 4 dissenting votes today. Obviously, one was from Stephen Myron, who was a dovish dissent. But to see 3 regional Fed voting governors dissent, I think it was a message to the incoming Fed chair that it's going to not be particularly easy for him to enact a rate cutting cycle that the president likely wants. And so we'll see. And then, similarly, or what I was saying earlier, we've traveled a long way into this, right? And so I was pointing out this morning, or maybe it was yesterday, that for the last couple of years, we have seen the market put in an interim top on the day in earnings season when the big companies are reporting, particularly when it's commensurate with a Fed meeting. Kind of saw it earlier this year in January, saw it October of last year, saw it July of last year, you saw it January of last year, not in April because was kind of coming off of the tariff stuff, and you saw it a couple times in 2024 too. So you get these big moves into earnings, expectations are very high, the numbers come in extraordinarily strong, and then the reaction is, deflated because we've moved a tremendous amount. And so we'll see if that is the reaction that we get into tomorrow. We know tomorrow also is month end, a tremendous pension rebalance for sale and equities. And that's only going to be accelerated now after the moves we see today, which is equities up and the bonds incredibly weak. So you're likely to see that shift the other way.
Yeah.
But
I just added a 10, I think Tracy posted in the chat, 10-year yields hit 4.5. I mean, this is the 10-year Treasury note right here. And, this when you see a candle this big in the 10-year notes, it's usually important. So we're looking again at these bottoms around 110.05 as a destination. We're not there yet, but we're really, really, really close. So this was a big move for that 10-year, that part of the curve anyway.
Yeah. And now you're seeing the NASDAQ kind of give up a lot of that, those gains. I think we made a high where 27,400 was the high, and now we're 200 and something handles off that number from a few minutes ago. And this is, I think probably some of the zero data expiry stuff closing at 415 is probably having some impact here. But again, the combination of the strong dollar, right? Dollar yen is making a high here, 160 and 41. Yields are basically closing at the day on the highs. And you mentioned the 30-year earlier, but also at the front end, we've seen rate cuts being removed after that hawkish commentary. You're seeing oil here continue to ratchet higher, trading up at over 108. Gasoline at the highs, Brent through 120. We're dealing with a lot here, right, Jim?
Yeah, no, for sure. Look at this NASDAQ. All right, it woke up. It's ready to go. We're 200. Is it 200? Let's see. High to low on this candle.
More.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking, I can't even do the math. We're talking 250 and falling. We have a low target wick down here. It's on my radar screen, 124.5. We saw that kind of wick through at 10 o'clock this morning. It looks like that's going to happen. And then a little bit lower, we got a high vol level in NASDAQ around 20. Is that right? Yeah, 27,040. And then Jack was calling out these previous sessions lows. I think Jack's low is 27.014. This is 27.09. And then 0DT put support. This market's made up its mind at this point. It's heard enough, Craig.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think if the hawkishness of the Fed, should have been a bigger deal at the time. I think people were waiting for these numbers, and it's not as if these numbers are catastrophic. Although the meta numbers seem like that would have been a miss, other if not for some tax benefits. But the other three seemed like they were okay-ish. And so, but I mean, we're there, right? We've traveled far, and the expectations were high, and it's hard for these companies to deliver over those high expectations. And so now it seems like the only one that is trading higher is Google, and that's starting to give back some of the gains too. But Amazon now trading 255 last versus 263 close. Microsoft at 411 versus 424, so down 2.5-3%. And Meta, the worst, down at 625 versus 669 close, so it's kind of 7-8% there. And Nasdaq has given back its gains and then some, right? A high of 27.4 and change, and now kind of almost 300 handles lower. S&P 71.90 to 71.41, so down 40. I think Jack was mentioning 71.13 was maybe a level that he was looking at there, and then the Russell too.
Yeah, I might have hit his backward. It might have been 71.13. You're right.
Yeah, and then the Russell too is it's showing some weakness here after hours, so it's not as if we're necessarily getting kind of an out of tech into something else trade. We're just kind of getting a little bit of a highly correlated beta faceplant here on these numbers into.
Did you say beta faceplant?
Beta faceplant, yeah.
All right, I'm going to pull up the mighty Russell right now. Let's get a daily chart going up real quick. Yeah, this is really bad. I mean, this daily chart right here, I mean, we've seen 7 days of bumping up against the ceiling, maybe 8 days of bumping up against the ceiling, being 2806-ish, give or take a couple ticks, and then complete failure. This is a ascending triangle breakout to the downside, if you believe in those kind of patterns, and it's pretty negative right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, some chatter in the chat about yields tomorrow being the story, and they should have been the story today. And the reason that they weren't necessarily the story today is because of the big tech earnings after the bell, and they will be the story, or one of the big stories for tomorrow. And that's driven by the energy stuff. It's been driven by overseas, movements in yields, German Bund yields making highs, JGB yields nearly back to the highs, and then an incrementally hawkish Fed today with 3 voting members looking at dissenting the language. Clearly a pushback to the idea that the Fed is committed to a cutting cycle. They're not so interested in that. And so, with yields moving higher, the dollar moving, I think we need to keep an eye on dollar yen overnight for sure. Blake was talking earlier when we were on the panel about potential for yen intervention. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think the likelihood of yen intervention would be stronger if we weren't getting these big moves in energy. And so I think as long as energy continues to kind of do what it's doing here, moving higher, the BOJ and the MOF are going to wait before intervening, maybe just kind of, let this go. But I think we can see a big, decent move higher in dollar yen, which I think would be, further risk off. You're also seeing that in the euro too, down 35 basis points to 116.7. Dollar MEX strong, dollar Aussie strong. So kind of across the board, dollar strength, moving with yields moving higher and oil moving higher, kind of back to this highly correlated, asset price movement here of concerns about Strait of Hormuz being closed and for longer. Some headlines out throughout the course of the day about, isolated strikes that the U.S. might be thinking about in Iran. I mean, who knows what'll happen there, but it doesn't really appear like we're getting resolution on that front. And I don't know, maybe we'll resume the pattern that we had been seeing previously in the war, where we had strength in markets early in the week, and then a fade in markets in the second half of the week and into Friday. I think there was a time there where Thursdays were down like 8 in a row. So tomorrow I think is Thursday. So we'll see what happens there. But if we have the potential for the weekend scaries again, and the possibility that strikes might happen, you're likely to see hedging for the weekend. You're likely to see volatility get bid, and You add that to the pension rebalance flows for tomorrow, and the setup doesn't really look great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just checking year to date, just throwing up a quick percentage chart. Russell's still the strongest, up 9.72%. Dow's the weakest, up 1.05%. So, when I think in terms of, what's the average on an annual basis going back 50 years, and I look at where we're at right now, I don't know if the top is in or not. It could go either way.
It's all about the flows. So, look, we're going to have the 401k flows are still going to be strong. Yeah. Next week, you're going to get the resumption of share buyback flows. As we push through the end of next week, you're going to get moved into the closure of the window of potential weakness and some hedging buyback flows. So there's be some support there. So we'll see. But obviously, we're still subject to headline risk and geopolitical risk here. But keep an eye on the dollar yen and keep an eye on the pace of the speed of the interest rate moves, right? I mean, 30-year yields at 4.99 into the close, kind of closing at high yields for the day. Bonds at the lows, we kind of can push through 5% maybe here overnight. We had auctions throughout the course of the week, 2s, 5s, and 7s, really all significantly underwater this week. So anyone who kind of put new capital to work in any of those auctions is losing money. And then given these CapEx moves here from the AI cohorts, you're likely to see announcements of investment grade debt issuance next week from one or two or maybe all of them. Who knows? We'll see. And so adding incremental supply to the fixed income market. So yeah, I think the yield story top of mind for tomorrow. Keep an eye on the dollar. Obviously, keep an eye on oil. And yeah, I think that's kind of where
before we go,
are.
Craig, I got to ask you, we got to talk about the Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin right now is just south of 76,000, which is way more resilient than I thought it would be. But this is kind of looking a little bit like the Russell, right? We kept trying to make new highs 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, sold off 2 days in a row. Now broke out of this trend channel on the way down. Some moving average crosses maybe, but not that big a deal. So my line in the sand is way over here, right? This is that target wick that we saw back on March 17th. South of 25,000 could matter. Right now we're holding our own, but the Bitcoin is, I'm going to keep my eye on that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the Bitcoin on the Sunday open show at the close, and I know the crypto closeout guys, Trader Main and Ponzi Trader also, spoke about it as well. I think all of us are kind of negative on the chart and on the outlook and on the narrative here. And so I think it's interesting and important to note that as equities made new highs, Bitcoin's strength really was lackluster, right? You really didn't see a lot of capital move back into Bitcoin or crypto as an asset class. Now, Bitcoin dominance has continued to improve. The rest of the crypto has been even worse, I think. But you're right. I think the Bitcoin chart really hasn't propelled itself higher here. And if you're in an environment where central banks are tightening liquidity to deal with inflation rather than adding liquidity, it's a headwind for the narrative there for Bitcoin. I think that's what we're seeing, a little bit here. And you're right. I mean, it's not trading particularly well here after hours either.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Awesome. Oh, last thing I want to ask you. So we touched about this earlier today. And we still have the conference calls ahead of us, right? For most of them, maybe some of them have started already, but my guess is no. They're a little bit later, right?
Usually like in the 5 to 5:30.
Yeah, and so we're closed for an hour, and then we're open up again 6 o'clock. So those things could move the needle. So be careful if you decide to trade the Globex session, or if you're going to carry position over this the close right now, the Globex close. Be careful of that because you could have some crazy stuff happen on the phone call, conference call, whatever they call it these days, and wake up with the gap. Come back with the gap right away. So be careful there.
I mean, it's already been crazy, right? We've already had, we were up at, 27.4 and change, down to 27.1 and change, so a 300 handle. Now we're back up to 27.220, so another 120 handles off the lows. Yeah. Kind of wild action. But the last look here, Amazon down about 1.5%, Meta down 35, call it 5-6%. Microsoft down about 1.5%, and Google up. So, one of the four looking better. Qualcomm actually is up as well, so that one is doing fine, even on the revenue slide. And then tomorrow we have Apple after the close. Tomorrow we have core PCE in the morning. We have the month-end dynamics And as it turns out, I'm going to be the one that's on with Nick Lentz in the afternoon tomorrow at 1:35, and we're going to be getting under the hood here and trying to look at some of the market internals. We'll talk about the month-end dynamics. We'll talk about some of the sector performance and stock performance for the month and kind of the outlook here. I'm a little excited to have Nick join us and kind of gear up for the 2 p.m. Trading competition. So
I'm glad you said that. When I saw his name on the show floor, I was like, wait, what? Someone didn't tell me this. Anyway, that's going to be awesome. And that's early, right? That's at 1:30, I think.
Yeah, we're going to get started at 1:30, and then we'll go until I think you'll have an edge report into the 2 o'clock session. So should be an exciting afternoon tomorrow for us on the network. So all good.
All right. Well, let's call it a night. I know the production crews have been working hard since about 5:30 this morning. Thank you guys. Did a great job today. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody in the chat for being here. If you're not in the chat and you're listening, appreciate you too. Thank you for the subscriptions and the thumbs up. And we're looking forward to hitting it hard, bright and early tomorrow. That's all I got. Craig, any last second thoughts?
No, I think we've covered it. I think we've covered it. There's a lot going on. Big day tomorrow, a lot of volume, month end, and then Friday expiry, just kind of your regular weekly. Plus, we'll have the manufacturing ISM. So we talked about the second half this week being when the action was going to be. Well, we're in it now. So good luck the overnight, and we'll catch you in the morning.
All right, very awesome. Remember, everybody, most important message of the day: please be safe out there. Be good to each other. We will see you soon.